Hello and welcome on VFA Grand Final Day. The crowd steadily building up at Princes Park for the game of the year, appropriately involving the teams that finished first and second on the ladder, the minor premier Werribee against Dandenong. Well, Werribee can really create some history today. They've already provided their first Liston Trophy winner in 1991 a chance to take their first flag in the same year. Dandenong, on the other hand, playing in their first grand final since 1976, have a chance to win their first flag since 1971. 2 lean decades for the Redlegs. Well, this should be a confirmation of the changing of the guard in the VFA during 1991, and it's very appropriate that these two sides that have had such a fine season are through to the big one at Princes Park. Also coming up this afternoon, the final in the VFA Sprint. You'll see that at half-time. We'll keep you up to date with progress scores from the Rugby League Grand Final in Sydney between Canberra and Penrith, and of course we'll provide the winners of our viewers' competition for the mark and goal of the year. But now to Princes Park. 6 teams in action today, and in the under-19s it was Frankston by 33 points. They were more accurate than Box Hill, 11-10-76 to 4-19-43. Then in the reserves, victory for Paran, 11-16-82 to 10-12-72. Paran by 10 points in the reserves. But the atmosphere now building up down at Princes Park. Let's join our commentary team led by Peter G.
Thank you, John, and you join us as Dandenong come out onto the ground where number 1 in 91, the banner says. Well, 20 years on, that famous 71 team, can it be repeated here today for Dandenong? Never have Werribee, as they break through their banner, won a VFA premiership. They won their first final, would you believe, in VFA football only 2 weeks ago when they beat Dandenong in the second semi. So a bit of history perhaps to be made by them here this afternoon. So they're getting the feel of this Princes Park surface, which is surprisingly good. An incredible amount of rain has fallen here during the week, and they've done a great job out here to have it in superb condition. Let's have a look at the lineups for this afternoon's game, and Werribee first from the team that was in the press. You'll see the changes. Rayburn's gone onto the bench. Walsh comes onto the half-back flank. Eames will be first rover. Morgan has gone to the middle. Damien Drum to centre-half forward. Danaher starting in the forward pocket. He kicked 6 goals straight at centre-half forward in that second semi-final. Well, Werribee is a club that hasn't known any senior success in the VFA, but the majority of this team haven't been through those bad times. I asked their playing coach, Leon Harris, how hungry they are.
At the moment, and I think the 18 guys have got the opportunity today, want to put themselves in the history book, I suppose. So, oh yeah, the incentive is there. Never have been successful previously, so we're hoping that we can do it today.
Now, there's been a contrast in the styles of the teams. Werribee, a direct team. Dandenong perhaps run the ball perhaps a little bit wider. On Princes Park, might that suit them?
Oh, I don't know. It's much of a muchness, I think, so I don't think it's any advantage one way or the other, the conditions or anything like that. It basically comes down to the side that wants to win the most and puts in the hardest, I think.
Dandenong's lineup, and Hollow comes in off the bench as he did last week. He impressed. Well, he's starting this week in the back pocket because Gary Frangalis' shoulder injury hasn't come up, so he's not in the team. Major positional changes are Green to first ruck, Doyle half forward flank, Marshall's at centre half forward, McKenzie at centre half back, and no Spike Milligan. No real surprise there. Tony Elshaugh will start on the ball, changing rover with Brad Gotch, who's in the forward pocket. Well, I asked Elshaugh a similar question to Harris. How keen are his players to return Dandenong to the glory days?
Oh, very keen. I think we've worked hard all year to get ourselves in this position, and there's no doubt that I think it's something we've all stressed out to ourselves during the week, that you don't get that many opportunities in football to play in grand finals, and you know, they want to make the most of it. You just never know what's going to happen in the future, and this is their best opportunity to date, and they've got to be able to grab it. Conditions are heavy. Werribee played just one game so far in the final series. You've played 3. Is that going to be a factor? Oh, I don't think so. I think the ground is good in a lot of different areas. I think in a lot of ways the team that plays the ground better can have a good chance, because there's obviously some good parts of the ground and there's some ordinary parts of the ground. So, you know, we're stressed the areas that we'd like to come into and attack through on this going down and also going up. So, you know, I think that'll play a major role. So, Elshaugh thinks the conditions, the width of the ground will be a factor. Harris thinks it won't matter. It's the team that wants it more that will win it. Stephen Sells there in the tracksuit top, starting on the bench, kicked 2 goals late in the game in that second semi. It was Werribee that jumped the better that day, and he is one of the men who's been at Werribee when they haven't been
so strong, so he'll be looking forward to playing a part today. Let's go down to ground level for the playing of the national anthem, the Victoria Navy Band. A great roar, the teams eyeball to eyeball through the band at one another. I'm sure there's butterflies there, and they're quite keen to break away now as the respective captain coaches go over to toss the coin to decide which team will have the use of the breeze. We'll be going down to Ross Booth at ground level shortly to see what he thinks about that. But triple Brownlow medalist Bob Skilton and best and fairest at Port Melbourne. He played one season at Port in the VFA, tosses the coin. Tony Elshaugh wins it, and he'll be going to the scoreboard end with the breeze in this first term. Great to see the chimp here, and I'm sure he's going to enjoy it this afternoon. Port Melbourne, Coburg and Williamstown have been the common denominator in all but two grand finals from 1980 to 1990. As John Bell said, in 1991, a changing of the guard. Dandenong are back there, and Werribee are here for the first time. Some fresh faces, and one just gets the sense, though, the crowd now starting to find their voice, that the spectators too are not used to the situation. As we look at All Day, who'll have a great go in the ruck today. He'll probably ruck all day, as his name suggests, up against Warwick Green and Greg Doyle. So a big weight on his shoulders. And with me in commentary this afternoon, as they have been all season for the last few seasons, Phil Cleary and Sam Kekovich. There's nothing like a grand final, gents. Well, I know that you've both tipped Dandenong already. Any changes? Firstly, you, Phil.
No, I stick with Dandenong. It's there's so little separating the two teams. I think you could quite legitimately pick either side, but I just have a feeling, Sam, that Dandy will get up and win the game. I think the soft ground will help them. They do run in waves. I think they had trouble in the second semi in defence. They picked a couple of wrong cards there, but McKenzie back on Danaher, I would suspect. I think that'll make the difference. Knight running out of defence. I think they're a very strong side. They're in form at the present time. They are very keen, as both sides are, but I just have that feeling that in the end they'll win the game.
Yes, they've got the momentum, Sam, as opposed to the fresh team. How's that going to work out?
I agree with you, Peter. I totally concur with Phil's comments. I think their preparation and lead up to the finals has been far better than Werribee, having only played the one final in a month, and their form leading into the finals was ordinary, to say the least. But I selected them in the second semi-final, and whilst they got narrowly beaten, I think they can reverse the trend here today. But there's three things that have to evolve for them to maintain or become victorious, I believe. First and foremost, Elshaugh's presence on the field is imperative from the outset. I think his presence and leadership is imperative early doors in view of the fact they've got a lot of inexperienced players, and I felt that Danaher and Morgan's prominence in that second semi-final had a telling effect against Dandenong, and I'm sure the Brain Trust would have made a note of that, and I think McKenzie will screw down Danaher, and I'm suspecting Millane will pick up Morgan.
Okay, let's go to Ross Booth. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Peter. Well, the ground very boggy, a slight breeze to the left of screen. That's the way of Dandenong, and already in a change with Hollow and Wicks coming off the bench for Dandenong. So that's a change to their named lineup. Umpires Peter Carey and Jeff Morrow. Jeff Morrow, his third VFA Grand Final.
And that is Jeff Morrow with the ball in hand. They've been out with the rollers, the super soppers. The ground's pretty good, and the real cry of the crowd splits the air here at Princes Park. The 91 Grand Final underway, and Doyle, no surprise, he started in first ruck, thumped it down to Reed. Werribee should be able to clear. They're there in numbers. And there's a whistle back behind play. And it's going to go down ground, and it's Danaher. There's Morgan. The ball will be tapped down to him. Played most of his football in the back pocket, and that's Marshall that puts the pressure on Darren Morgan early on. And now an even up. We haven't seen a lot of this in the final series so far. It hasn't taken long in the grand final.
Well, players are a bit more excited when it comes to the grand final, Peter. Just testing each other. A few changes too in the lineups and the placement of players. We'll get those to you shortly.
Lesiputty it was to even up against Marshall. Morgan to within 20 metres of goal. Harris makes a path, then kicks it off the ground for a behind. Harris kicked the ball, Elshaugh tapped it through.
Yes, fitting contribution by both captain coaches early in the game, Peter and Phil. There's an extra, the adrenaline flow through the body certainly accelerated on grand final day, and players would certainly be feeling that.
Murray got the job on O'Keefe, and there's the mark for Chapman.
He's picking up Rohan Welsh. Welsh is at centre half forward, Warwick Green at full forward.
McPherson delivering wide. O'Keefe couldn't take it. Murray's outnumbered, but did very well to Marshall. Open spaces on the wing. Darren Reed, good position. Tried to get the ball onto Atkinson. And here's Rod McPherson. Hasn't played a lot of football of late. Had a hit out against Geelong reserves in that practice match last week, and he's in for the grand final. Good look before he kicked the ball, and he found Danaher. The experienced players for Werribee showing out early. Plenty of open spaces. Frank Lesiputty trying to improve the angle. Grubber towards O'Keefe. It's Knight caught by Harris. O'Keefe trying to get it to McMaster. Here's McMaster. Eames, the Liston medalist, gets the opening goal.
Yes, well, you need that one early. We'll see here Eames actually pick it up in the square. Danny looking a little bit anxious at the present time. They've moved their players around. I don't know whether that's the best way to go, to have Welsh out at centre half forward and Green sitting in the pocket, Doyle in the ruck. Werribee looking good, Sam.
Yes, Phil, but they had to get that balance into the side. Welsh a little bit more agile than either Doyle or Green, so it's probably the best balance that they could employ in their side.
All day won that tap. Through comes McCormack, thumps it to half forward. Out comes Green. Flips out the hand pass to Atkinson, shot on goal. He's put it through in, Atkinson. And a quick reply by the Redlegs.
Well, Warwick Green.
Yes.
Great football, the big fella, sitting in the goal square. A change of tactic by Tony Elshaugh. We'll see it there. Goes to the deck, but puts it over to Atkinson. He's a live wire, swings the ball round the body. Great start, great football.
A lot of pace by Atkinson, so quick change to that side, Phil. Atkinson off the bench before the match.
Yes, all happening, Ross. Both coaches having a good think about their game.
Well, tactics are vital, Phil.
Marshall picking up Lesiputty on the half-back flank or back pockets.
All day, gets it to the ground. Drum knocked it clear to Knight. Heard the call. That's VFA football in close quarters. Terrific work, Geary. Clever kick too to square it. Could be a free kick for McKenzie. It is. The centre half-back takes it.
Yeah, and he worked very hard to get in front there, the premier position. Got a big task on Danaher.
Off to Elshaugh. Through half-back. Millane a contest. Fisted away by Nick Walsh for the Tigers, for Werribee. Through comes Darren Hall. Thumps it towards Green at full forward. Fitzpatrick at the back, a good spoil. Roving it is Knight. The shot by Welsh, the full forward, or usual full forward, has skipped their second. And the Redlegs on fire.
Oh, what a great passage of play, Ross.
Dennis Knight, Sam, the back pocket. We'll see it on screen, and we've mentioned this over the final series. Dennis Knight, there is hands the ball over to Welsh. Now, Dennis Knight is playing out of the back line. That's so characteristic of him to run the length of the ground.
John Leon Harris ran the length.
Yes.
And great vision and great skills. Feeding that ball off quickly. What a wonderful opening.
Dandenong with the breeze. First goal to the Werribee, but they've hit back. Doyle uses the body as he always does. Off to Elshaugh. Thumps it long. Green caught out of position. Running with it, the flight is Atkinson. With him, Geary. And Geary relieves the pressure for Werribee. Wide. Kick finds Eames. Ord under a bit of pressure. Fell to his knees. Gotch a hand pass. Back to Elshaugh. You can see how sloppy it is. Now Gotch on his wrong foot. Time to straighten. He'll put it through, I think. He has. third goal to the Redlegs. Bradley Gotch.
Well, the two pocket dynamos in action there, Elshaugh and Gotch. And what a wonderful acquisition Gotch has been since moving from St Kilda this year.
Sam, when he turns on his left foot, you know you're in trouble, don't you? He doesn't bother with the right, goes onto the left to make a Monty of it. And a Monty it is. Great football.
And there you see Dennis Knight. He took a lot of deep breaths after running the length of the field. He's back up there on Harris. 3 goals kicked in 3 minutes by Dandenong. We've had 4 goals kicked in 6 in the match. All Dandenong back here. Gotch, the big outfield catch. Really started to hit his straps last week, Gotch. The handball just stopped on Murray. It's pretty hard to knock off the ball, though. And here's the centreman, Burke. The running Marshall. Rohan Welsh, leading goal kicker in the VFA with 81 after that first one for the day for him. Green putting the pressure right on to Linton Fitzpatrick, and he's got the free.
Thought it was a tad soft, but
a little
still.
bit soft, Sam, yep.
It is a grand final.
This is the boggier side of the ground, the city side. It goes through the hands of All Day, and that one's a bit soft as well.
Indeed it was, Peter.
Against Moray. But apparently the drainage on that side of the ground has packed it in.
We'll take your hat off to Elshaugh too, because he hasn't been scared to throw players around.
Lesiputty got a hand to it. It's McCormick, back from suspension. Standing his ground all day. A little bit of late pressure from Moray. Reid under pressure from Burke. I think Eames kept hold of him. Yes, that's the decision. Burke runs off him. 4 possessions for Darren Reid. Warwick Green. Mark for Geary. He's going to move it out towards the Elliott stand side from where we're watching this grand final. And it's Neil Danaher. How he'd love to pick up a premiership. Missed both those at Essendon because of the injuries he suffered as Drum spears it towards O'Keefe. A few finals nerves there. He should have held that one. Off tonight. Dangerous. Drum here. Just got a little bit of pace advantage over McCormick. He throws the ball back there towards Lesiputty. Now Dandenong have the numbers, and it's Elshaugh that clears.
Well, Willie out towards Eames, coming hard at the ball, the Liston medalist. Ricky Knight, Gotch the tackle. Support from Hall. And finally through Normington, Werribee into attack. Dropped by McMaster. Lots of pressure on early days. Marshall flips it out to Moray. Moray looks for Millane at half forward. He's in front of Walsh. Couldn't quite grab it. Sean Millane.
What a fabulous contest, Ross. Players from both sides throwing themselves into the fray.
Good move, Marshall onto Lesiputty. Ross.
2 physical players. Lots of homework done by both sides. Doyle at the back. Millane gets the kick now. Only as far as Dallas, Normington.
Too long the kick. Elshaugh around Drum towards the leading Green. Good late pressure coming. And over it goes from Fitzpatrick.
Wonderful VFA ground, Carlton. Phil, isn't it? The broad wings enable sides to switch play effectively. Sides that are prepared to work hard. There's plenty of space to run into. And I suspect that Dandenong's youthful legs will be a telling factor towards the latter part of the game.
Dribbling forward through Darren Reid, trying to get their 4th goal.
Yes, Sam, it will expose the player who can't run.
10 minutes gone. Very exciting opening. Dandenong in attack. Over the back is Chapman with the left hand. Morgan can't clear it. McMaster. One over the top to Eames. Got the fumbles. In comes Doyle with a good side bump.
More physical Dandenong too, Ross. Putting a lot of bumps and tackles on.
It's an amazing thing, that intangible pressure, what it does to players. Phil, at finals time.
And that physical pressure takes their mind off gathering the ball. As Gotch gets it forward. Normington.
Seen a number of relatively easy marks built. A couple of fumbling errors, easy turnovers.
And the Kyabram recruit puts it out on the full.
Yes, making a lot of unforced mistakes, Werribee. Dandenong interchange bench.
Doyle, high for Welsh, but 2 against 1. And it's the fullback, Fitzpatrick.
It's a poor kick there, really. Wrong option.
Chapman out to Danaher. Way down on half-back flank.
There's that width we were alluding to, Peter.
Gap out on the wing, being filled up now. Harris calling for it. Leon Harris can go back to Danaher. Well blocked by Burke, but there's Knight. Loses it to Atkinson. Darren Burke. Green won't quite get there on the full. Good play from Nick Walsh, and he switches it out wide. Plenty of room for Rod McPherson.
It's very boggy out there. That's unwise. Surely a free kick. Advantage perhaps paid. Eames gets it. Thumps to half forward. Hall with Damien Drum. Very physical clash there. Drum goes in strongly. O'Keefe trying to get it out for Werribee. Neil Danaher. Tackled by the little fella Darren Reid. The ball not clear in the tackle, and what a pack.
Oh, this is fantastic stuff for us.
Isn't it ever, Sam? Isn't it ever? Really right hard on the ball, Dandenong, and the opposition players.
Against Hall, shepherding out Drum, who was going to have to do the ruck work there. Oh, running unguarded into the pocket, Darren Morgan, the former Cats combining.
Yes, well, we mentioned him in our preview, Peter. He's an extremely damaging player, got blistering pace, great skills, and they've just got to sit on this guy because he's the one guy on the side that's capable of changing the course of a game with his pace.
What do you call them, Sam? The distributor cap of Werribee's motor?
Well, I did, Peter. I'll tell you after this kick.
From 30 metres, Morgan's missed.
I did say, Peter, I made the comment that if you could quell or suppress Morgan and Danaher's contribution, it's akin to removing the distributor cap of a motor.
Oh, well, Sam, you come up with another one. Cleared by or spoiled by Lesiputty. Good smother by Lesiputty. Off to Harris. Inside 50 is McMaster. He couldn't go on because Knight got the mark quickly. Kicking into a slight breeze. Sorry, Phil.
Brett McKenzie been loose on Danaher too, Ross. I've noticed a couple of times.
Shorts on to Morgan. Over his head. Leon Harris. And McMaster loose on Tony Elshaugh too. Into a very slight breeze, Leon Harris. Look at that boggy half-forward flank.
What's it worth, Ross, the breeze?
1 or 2 goals, Phil.
It's pretty well sheltered down there, Phil, with the stands.
The coach has kicked accurately. And a bit of a steadier for Werribee, their second, after 13 minutes of the first term.
Tell you what, it's a crackerjack game. No doubt about that, Sam. See Harris there, getting on his own. Can't afford that.
Poor defence, enabling Harris to sneak away on his own. And that was a fine shot for goal. Not renowned for his penetrating kicking, but...
Leon Harris, who played in a premiership with Fitzroy Reserves against Geelong back in '89. Hasn't played in any other grand finals in senior football. All day, tapping it tonight. Got to be very quick, and it spills to Gotch. Elshaugh, cool, and great distance as usual. Doing a good job, Fitzpatrick on green. Normington, Fitzpatrick. Got a bit of a chase on for Geary. Pressure coming from Atkinson.
Phil, Green's lack of mobility, whilst he's done well on a couple of occasions when he's got the ball, but when they've peppered it along to him and the lack of a small in support of him has cost Dandenong dearly.
Number 4 is Richard Geary, half-back for Werribee, all day from the back. Lovely twist by McPherson to Geary. McMaster, lovely running game from Werribee. Walsh forced to kick, up to Lesiputty, gathered. Well tackled, loose ball, Ricky Knight. Wide, very wide indeed to half-forward. The high-stepping Richard Geary from half-back. Beats McKenzie. Centres a kick, looking for O'Keefe. Oh, and from the side. Got a free kick, no, the mark paid to Nick Murray. Great in the air is Murray.
Halfway through this first quarter, and it's a 4-point lead for Dandenong. Sean Millane kicked 6 in the preliminary last week. And here's the centreman, Darren Burke. Member VFA football for the last season, it would seem. 16-man aside, so no wingers here on the wide open spaces at Princess Park as Morgan gets the kick, dropping a little short onto the chest of Marshall. Murray. Stymied. Goes back inboard to Doyle. Gotch. Long lead coming from Green, but he goes in short to Millane. Plenty of time to make sure of it. He does.
That was very well set up by Dandenong then, and Millane slipping the net and just falling across there to centre half forward, and Gotch ever alert on that left foot. Look at the kick.
Doyle did very well at selecting the right option across the half-back line, the tall guy. Millane, after having a relatively quiet opening quarters, featured prominently in the last 2 or 3 minutes.
He did that last week, yes. Sam. He did nothing early on, but he was making sure of every possession and putting it through the middle. So, will again get his confidence up.
He's now in the centre square, Millane. Doyle comes with all day. Gotch has grabbed it high, I thought.
Good to see.
Wonderful contest, that.
Certainly Gotch thought he was grabbed high. He's grabbed it out to Jeff Morrow.
His centre bounces are interesting too, Ross. The left-handed Doyle in against all day.
Doyle on right of screen, number 12. From the angle, used the right hand beautifully. Burke up to full forward. Green is caught behind, into the back of Fitzpatrick.
Yes, the minute I say he's using the left hand, he goes for the right.
Although if you were a Rover, you would have been fooled, Phil. That's why you're a half forward.
Yes, Ross. Good call.
I was talking to Mick Hawking, former Dandenong coach, and he said that it's taken a long time, as we see Stephen Sells warming up, for the Dandenong players to get used to the ruck work of Doyle because he uses that left hand. Chapman up one-handed. That's Burke. Squaring to Millane. Atkinson in support. Nice hand in there from Walsh, though. Got it to Cleary. Werribee through Drum. He's going to bypass the full forward and go for home. It's bending back. Knight under pressure. And away goes the back pocket. Hall. Oh, there's an absolute hectare in front of him. Marshall. Again, Green on the long lead. And in short this time, it's a Werribee player, Rod McPherson. Under pressure are the Tiger backs, and it's McPherson. Can go short to Morgan, or just kick up into the space. Drum, the only Werribee player there, and Marshall nabs him.
He was lucky to escape. That should have been a free kick, that one.
We're already seeing the width of the ground causing a few problems, Sam, isn't it? With the delivery of the ball. You must get the runners in.
Well, it exposes the ones that do lack legs, Phil.
Saw that free kick again, or no free kick. Knight under pressure. It's gone about 5 metres. Danaher with the ball. O'Keefe on the lead. Willie Murray. The kick is too accurate. And he plays on now. From 45 metres on the left foot. But well smothered by Murray. O'Keefe gets it out. Morgan. Inboard. Ricky Knight. For number 3 for the Tigers. Or is it? No. Alec Lindsay in his 6th grand final. Singles just a minor score.
Certainly a fast and furious pace. Here's the Dandenong interchange.
Certainly not paddock football, is it?
No, Chris Hollow on the left, Richard Wicks on the right.
Cleary chipping in here, but Atkinson, fine mark.
Yeah, it was a wonderful overhead under a lot of pressure. Wonderful skills displayed here.
Really backed himself there, Sam, and nabbed it with superior spring. Puts it high. Numbers with Werribee, Frank Lesiputty. Normington. Spearing it out on the full for the 2nd time. Dallas Normington just taking a while to find his grand final feet. 9 points the difference in favour of Dandenong. We've played 19.5 minutes first quarter.
Atkinson to centre wing. Oh, Welsh too early. Chapman, who's played great games against Dandenong in the too early this year, the centre half back. All day. Great persistence and tenacity. Out to Danaher with McKenzie. McKenzie 2 metres behind. Danaher pushed as he kicks. And it was a good push too because it's out on the full.
Yes, just forced the error, Phil, in time.
One wonders whether he's going to be able to maintain that amount of running too, Neil Danaher. He's having to go wide. He's 30 years of age. The legs have taken a pounding over the years.
And Alday had to run hard too.
Yes. Bit of strain showing on some faces already. Energy sapping conditions as Murray Puts it to Doyle. Cool, this man has got a pair of hands on him. And he's got a brain too, but Elshaugh leaves his handball behind. McMaster, some heavy shepherding done there by Drum. It's up for O'Keefe. He's got the recovery.
Oh, sensational goal.
Phil O'Keefe, his first. And it's 3 points the difference.
Mistake was critical, wasn't it, by Tony Elshaugh in the middle of the ground. And look at O'Keefe here over the back. Sam, what do you make of this, Sammy?
This is almost reminiscent of Sumich yesterday. Oh, but what a fascinating, you're right, and there was some heavy work done in midfield too by Werribee to enable the ball down to...
It was Damien Drum who lined up and fairly and collected.
No, exactly.
Elshaugh.
Great physical pressure that he's putting on the opposition Drum.
Doyle does it well again. Past Reed. McPherson put a hand in. Fitzpatrick doing well against Warwick Green. At the back, McCormack's balling. Ground level. Millane into the corridor. Gotch. Oh, he just evaded that tackle. And then kicks neatly out to Darren Hall. He's a left footer. Steady play. Welsh now, if not at full forward, is actually there at the moment. The full forward. And Welsh makes the lead. Fitzpatrick with him. And Welsh too good.
Well, he's not impossible to stop from that position. The athletic youngster.
I think Green's gone back into the ruck now, Ross, and Doyle to centre half forward.
And I think they look a lot better. Well, I'll miss Doyle's leaps in the centre, but I just believe their forward structure is a lot better with Doyle and in particular Walsh back at full forward.
Rohan Welsh, 81 so far for the season, coming back, not quite getting the distance, Greg Chapman.
So that's poor play by Werribee to not have a player in the square, though.
He's cool as a cucumber. Chapman, nonchalant in taking that mark. Morgan. It's twice they've gone for bounces, Werribee. I don't know whether they'll try it again. Reed towards Atkinson. Punch coming from Fitzpatrick. Walsh caught by Millane. He had a little bit of time. Well done, hey!
Gee, that should have been rewarded. It was a fine tackle, providing they're consistent, I guess. There'll be no arguments.
Just 25 metres out from the dandy goal. Doyle with strength. But you heard the umpire call, touched off the boot, went out of bounds.
Good boy can play a little bit, Peter, can't he?
Surely it's got to be a throw-in. If it was called touched. Right there. Maybe I was hearing things.
No, I heard the call.
The umpire's wide for sound, and it's been given out on the full.
But you're right, Peter, you called it correctly.
I think the central umpires would overrule that. Anyway, play goes on. Lesiputty leaping high at the back. Walsh down. Not holding the ball. Reed says holding the ball. You can see him on the right, screaming at umpire Morrow. Darren Reed. He's drafted last year to Carlton. Back with the Redlegs. And Jeff Morrow's going to throw this one up. Doyle grabs the front. Rod McPherson. Wide to Lesiputty. He's one of the slower members of the Werribee Brigade. Marshall's not that quick either for Dandenong. We're both happy to see it over, I think.
If he's not quick, he's very keen, Ross, and he makes up a yard or two just by being extremely enthusiastic.
Now it's Green. Palming down to Burke. Gotch. Favoured left foot. Oh, pushed into the ball there was Walsh. He's doing pretty well on half-back. Here's Normington. Oh, they've got the men here, Werribee. McMaster had a number of options. Goes towards his captain, coach. Harris being borne down on by Murray. McKenzie under all sorts of hammer. Easy goal for Drum. Oh, he's put it out in the full.
So Brett McKenzie's a little bit of a worry when the ball's on the deck. Can get himself all tied up as he did on that occasion.
Was that such an easy goal, though? Perhaps I was a bit unfair on Drum. He had to be quick.
Well,
he's on the left.
Yes, I would suspect that he could have done a little bit better with his experience.
Dennis Knight puts the ball back into play. Warwick Green there trying to gather control. Drum with strength. Found a man. No, he didn't. McMaster. Darren Burke. Lesiputty off the ground. Burke got one high.
Ooh, just as well. They're in a bit of trouble, Danny, there too. Outnumbered.
Seventh possession for Darren Burke. Hoists it high. Chapman against Doyle. Gotch, lovely handball to Elshaugh. Gotch calling for it back. Elshaugh with skill, gets clear. Goes towards Rohan Welsh, but it falls short into the hands of Nick Walsh.
Yeah, they're filling in the corridor very well, the Werribee defence, just cutting off that Welsh lead.
Wide again go the Tigers. Northern side of Princes Park to Leon Harris. Back into the corridor almost to Knight. Oh, sloppy kick. Looking for Eames. Burke intercepts. Darren Hall on his wrong foot, pushed by Knight. Eames lost it. Doyle unusually didn't find a man with his hand pass. To half forward go Dandenong. Werribee under pressure. Geary with skill and a bit of pace. Clears back to Leon Harris where they were a minute ago.
Dennis Knight caught well out of position here.
Good running off the ball coming from Knight. That's Ricky Knight, but his kick didn't find Danaher. Now McCormack's going to switch play out to Gotch. No, goes to Hall. He's going to be held up here by O'Keefe. And they've manned up a bit now, Werribee. All except this man, Murray. He doesn't mind running from fullback. Atkinson.
Kicking wide's going to test the sides and how long they can run wide for.
Millane has a break on Walsh here. Bounces over for a throw-in. 60 metres around from the Dandenong goal. They lead by 3 points. We've played 27 minutes first quarter. 1991 VFA Grand Final.
Doyle and all day. Chapman at the back. Eames. Ooh, just missed McCormack charging through. On centre wing. Green in possession. Ricky Knight is boggy out there. Drum back to Danaher. Long hand pass to Knight, but he always had a man with him. That man McKenzie.
Well played.
Brett McKenzie slapping it out. The centre half back.
Good percentage football.
Redlegs will get the kick through Warwick Green, the ruckman, who has held. Said umpire Peter Carey. Not much time to go in the quarter. Nearly 28 minutes. Doyle, too strong. Feeds it out again beautifully to Burke. Moray at the back. Geary. Millane rode it well, but overran it in the end. Walsh clears to Normington. Can he use this ball better? He does. McPherson standing still. Nice gather. Dummy. Setting something up. Lesiputty in good position. Through the hands. Marshall. Drum. And the two bundle it through or rush behind.
You can see how important the rebound is. If you get the ball into your forward zone, you really have to pick the best option because it is swung out so quick you can catch your players out of position.
Third meeting between these two teams this year. Werribee have won the first two encounters. Round 11 by 18 points, 12 points in the second semi-final. This is the one that matters, and Dandenong lead by 2 points. Which way do the umpires see that one?
Yes, in the back. Warwick Green.
Certainly a David and Goliath contest, that one.
Like me against you, Sam.
Fair analogy, Phil.
Green's kick. Burke didn't have it for quite long enough. A good tackle back, though. Here's Morgan. Drops short, and Marshall stands his ground.
He's doing very well, Marshall, across that half-back line.
He's got a big job on Lesiputty.
Sixth possession. Reed. Clever knock on. Atkinson's got plenty of toe. Bearing down on him, Drum, though. The tap, unfortunately for Dandenong, goes past Knight. It doesn't matter. And pleasant change for Dandenong. They've got off to a good start against Werribee, and they've kicked accurately. They've kicked 50 behinds in the last two meetings of this season. They haven't kicked any so far in this first quarter. They've kicked the 4 straight. Their goal kickers being Millane, Welsh, Atkinson and Gotch, while for Werribee, all single goal kickers as well. Harris, O'Keefe and Eames got the opening goal of the match. Quarter time in the VFA Grand Final at Princes Park, and it's Dandenong who lead Werribee by 2 points.
Well, now, our final man of the match competition of the year was held during the preliminary final, and the winner was Greg Doyle, the man of the match in the preliminary final for Dandenong against Box Hill, and our winner Congratulations to N. Stevenson from Jessup Street at Greensborough.
Thanks, John. And back with the Dandenong huddle. And 3 goals in 3 minutes after Werribee got that opening goal. Tremendous football from the Redlegs, but then it evened up again. And it's going to be a real tooth and nail struggle out here. But considering how good it is through the middle of the ground, we've seen a lot of the action out wide on the wings. Wonder if Leon Harris will mention that as he prepares to talk to his troops. Nick Walsh there in the middle of picture has been very good on the half-back line. Here's Leon.
It's pretty hard to pinpoint the ball in these conditions. So you just got to be forwards have got to be pushing up. If we're pushing back and trying to expect a 50-metre kick, it's just not going to happen. Might happen early in the quarter when you get a new ball, but late in the quarter it's just not happening. So you just got to keep pushing up at the ball. Wait till the end, just got to play a little bit tighter, right? Just aware of what's going on in those situations. But once we settle down mid-term, we start to get a lot more of the ball. There's good pressure on Atkinson down there. He just didn't want to be a part of that situation. So we just got to keep working and just get total use of our possessions. Total use of our possessions. Just blokes, just steady a little bit. Blokes will come in, shepherd, things like that. Don't be always pushing to be the handball receiver. Don't push to be the handball receiver. Get in and knock someone over. Put a bit of body contact on them. I think
what Harris is saying there is very pertinent. Make the most of your possessions. We saw both sides there perhaps misusing the ball. A good example of a player having a look, getting clear and using the ball well, I thought was Rod McPherson for Werribee in that term. Here's the highlights, and a great highlight in the first minute or so for Werribee. Eames slotting one.
Yeah, the first quarter was highlighted by a large number of turnovers, Peter. Both sides making a lot of mistakes, and this is a fine passage of play, crashing through the midfield. And we see this was a rarity, really, coming through midfield. We see Big Green doing well, feeding the ball out to Atkinson. It was a fine snap, got Dandenong on the board. But Hall doing quite well, Darren Hall, and Big Green again at full forward. He started the game off at full forward with Walsh the centre half forward and farming the ball out to Welsh, who snapped truly. But we saw that they reverted back to Welsh at full forward, and Big Green went the ruck, and Doyle at centre half forward. Elshaugh, I feel, has been a good player, even though he's made a couple of mistakes. And Gotch, the experienced duo, involved themselves early in that game to settle the side down. Phil?
Certainly did, and the feature of Gotch's play is his use of the balls. We saw there to Millane in the corridor and through the goals it goes. Peter G made the point. Sides going wide, the rebound, so that happens on this ground. It's a big ground, and 16 man aside, you must get the runners moving with you. It's a bit hard for all the players to run the heavier ground, not running on top of the surface. There's O'Keefe. This is an absolutely beautiful goal. Attempts the mark off the ground. Boy, you couldn't ask for better than that.
Improvisation.
Well, Werribee a few more kicks. Similar marks, couple more handballs, 4 more handballs, free kicks, similar hit-outs, pretty much the same. So she's pretty tight out there in what is a tremendous game of football.
Both backlines virtually on top.
Under plenty of pressure,
plenty of pressure, and both sides are working extremely hard to ensure they've got numbers around the ball. And I thought it was quite evident in Leon Harris's speech to his players, the expression on players' faces, you know, that they're looking very tired already.
Okay, Ross, did you notice that?
I tell you what, it's a long walk over to the other side to Tony Elshaugh's group. The other side is very wet. This is why I think Werribee brought the ball this side, because it's much drier, much firmer underfoot. But in a sentence or two, what Tony Elshaugh said was to back yourself, Dandenong, because we're a better running side, keep up the running, take risks. So I think that's what they're going to do to try and exploit Werribee's lack of pace.
Yes, probably a valid comment.
Yeah, so players like Dennis Knight wouldn't want to get caught out too much, Sam. He's been caught out a couple of times so far. He's a great runner. We have to balance that a little bit.
Well, they use the ball so very well when they do get possession, Werribee. That's the key factor.
Umpire Carey starts the second quarter. Dandenong leading, going from left to right in this term. Werribee have the breeze. Allday gets the first tap. Drum off the ground. Millane against Walsh. Walsh has followed him down. Burke to McCormick, tries to break through Walsh. Millane's kick, and well marked up there by Nick Moray. Putting it in front of the running Gotch, too far in front. Normington off half back. Ball will fall for McKenzie. centre half back has it for Dandenong. First mark from McKenzie. Gotch, that's almost a mark. He got a trip, accidental. The whistle's been put away. Eames flips it out. Cleary, then Drum, not such a good handball. Normington had to sit under it. Caught the second time.
Too high, deemed by the umpire.
Ooh, bit lucky.
Yes, I agree, Peter.
A couple of poor kicks by Dandenong have put them under pressure.
Yeah, McKenzie's
Lead from
choice.
Danaher. Good spoil, McKenzie. Neil Danaher, the impossible angle. O'Keefe, oh, he made great ground to grab it there. He likes playing against Dandenong, this man. Kicked 7 back in round 11.
Good full forward, O'Keefe. Tough and resilient. Mobile, agile.
He's only 15 metres out. There you see the task for this left footer who's got it. No, not quite.
Well, I think it's quite evident, even at this stage of the game, that McKenzie on Danaher just must tighten up.
Burke down from the middle. Here's McKenzie. They're very happy to run off the Dandenong backs. McPherson, 10 possessions in the first quarter. Burke will leave it for McKenzie. Takes the time to make up his mind. Spoil from McPherson. Gotch. Underneath it is Greg Chapman. He is another who backs his judgment.
That was superb judgment. He is a fine player, Phil. He's had a wonderful second semi-final.
And he's another, like Jack Marshall, that enjoys his footy. Big jump from Doyle. So it's a point the difference in favour of Dandenong. 2.5 minutes into the second quarter. Doyle, number 12, rucking against Lesiputty. Elshaugh to Gotch. That's a free kick, but he slid down underneath the tackle and would never get paid. Well, you'd hope not anyway. And the umpire saw it that way.
Doyle in front. Nice work, McCormack to half forward. Welsh late on the scene. Roving at Moro, he's been quiet. Chapman clears to centre wing. Burke in a pack of 3. Hand pass nowhere in particular. Harris there, tackled by Reid. In possession he was all day. To half forward go the Tigers. McCormack, good tackle. Oh, I got away from Lesiputty. I thought he'd nailed him. Welsh back at centre half forward, over to from Normington to Ricky Knight. That's yes, it's slowing up a bit in the heavy conditions.
Marshall. Doyle has to be quick. Atkinson, he is. Just took a little bit too long. Harris to Morgan. Drum under all sorts of pressure. Oh, he fended his way clear somehow. Dandenong free, I think.
Yes, there's a high one there on Doyle.
Against Frank Lesiputty on the mark there.
Greg Doyle being a little more direct this time. It's Welsh, no position to mark. He went the fist. Chapman. Good hip and shoulder from Walsh on Millane.
Oh, there's some heavy work in the clinches, Phil. No quarter given and certainly none asked for.
I get the feeling that Werribee are really trying to assert their physical strength.
Yes, Ross.
Now, they feel this is what they must do. Morgan, so watch out for some strong tackling. More of it. Cleary to Knight. From 65 metres, terrible kick. Falls to Drum though. Goal results. So Damien Drum.
Yes, I think we're entering a critical time for Dandenong, actually. The Werribee machine is just going into full gear, I suspect, at the moment. Handing the ball off well in the middle, forcing errors from Dandenong. Ricky Knight goes for home, and as they say, luck is a fortune on this occasion. Onto Drum, and a goal.
Some very pedestrian tackling too in midfield. You know, loose arms. You just must put the body in the line of the ball and pin the player.
All day. Again, Doyle, his characteristic two-handed grab out of the ruck. Walsh, he's done well all day. Couldn't get it over the top of the leaping Marshall. Well taken, McMaster. Eames. Hall under pressure. The most experienced Dandenong player. Getting it out there to Atkinson. Morgan sticking with him. O'Keefe just got it clear in time. Oh, the meat in the sandwich was Morgan. Oh, no talking between Hall and Marshall. Then Morgan throws his body back in. This is tremendous physical stuff.
Yes, Morgan really worked hard to contest then. Involved themselves in 3 or 4 contests. Keep that ball ensconced in the forward line.
Werribee lead by 5 points. 5 minutes into the second term. Drum held it a long time. Out comes Murray, supported by Knight. Oh, Normington missed by McKenzie and pinned.
Yes, that was good play by McKenzie. Big, strong man. Drop that hip and shoulder and assert some authority.
He missed that.
Just didn't line it up right, Sam.
I realise that, but that's the sort of stuff that he must do.
That's why he might have a sore arm.
You know, he's a big, strong lump of a lad.
Gotch can Dandenong clear. Looking out towards Atkinson. Caught at the back with Geary. Marshall onto the scene. Intelligent soccer. Up to Millane, who got a little push from Nick Walsh. Walsh into all day.
Doing well all day in general field play.
Ricky Knight can keep running. Gets around McKenzie. Chips it this time. Directly in front, Frank Lesiputty, 20 metres out.
Yes, they're getting spread out a bit, Dandenong. That's the problem. Not able to link up enough, whereas Werribee, on the other hand, are linking up very well, switching the ball. Nick Morey coming off.
Lesiputty bends it back.
And all day's doing exceptionally well for Werribee, the big man. A one-man band for the Tigers, taking on the likes of Doyle, Green, and occasionally Welsh. That was a fine vision demonstrated by Knight, seeing Lesiputty unattended 30 metres out, and that was some very ordinary defence by the Dandenong defenders.
So Werribee, they took the early lead with the opening goal of the match, and Nick Morey in a bit of trouble, having his left thigh iced there, maybe a hamstring. No, it's more like on top of the upper leg. There's a determined Marshall runs straight at it, but so does Geary. This half-back line is a tremendous springboard for Werribee. The handball goes astray, but it falls for Morgan. Going towards Harris. Arrived just in time. Dennis Knight. And the throw-up will be about 35 metres from Werribee's goal. And so far, Dandenong yet to score in this quarter.
Bounce by umpire Morrow. Lesiputty. Drum, quick hands. McMaster filling about. Neil Danaher on the angle across the face of goal. Still in play, Nick Murray. Or Drum, a good tackle, but he didn't have possession, says umpire Morrow.
Yes, good decision. Yeah. Well, he was in a lot of trouble too, Nick Murray, there, if that ball had spilled out.
Lead short by Wicks. And it's... well, that's a bit too sloppy where they're kicking, losing their footing. Short to Morgan.
He's added a new dimension to his game, this guy. I've always been impressed with his attacking game. You know, the physical aspect, you know, was the question mark, but he's really demonstrated some fine ability to contest.
Not a bad shot at goal either, Sam. He's put it through, Darren Morgan. 12th possession.
Well, gee, if you're not imbued by something like that, Ross, that's you know, inspirational stuff by Morgan. Really a team lifter. I just get the feeling, Phil, I don't know about you, they appeared a little bit more proficient and composed in the clinches. Their ball handling, you know, both hand and foot, is a little bit superior at this point in time.
I think Dandenong's in a little bit of trouble, actually, Sam. We've got to do something special now. The game could slip away, or certainly the deficit could increase.
17 points, certainly Werribee's biggest lead all day. Lesiputty handed it off to McMaster, who was cornered. Elshaugh. Bounce just favouring Werribee. It's Rohan Welsh. Good work from the tall man. Reid off to Wicks. His first possession, 45 out. But there, 5 out. It's Walsh. Geary. Goes high to Ricky Knight. Well, he's got heaps of space in front of him. They're still bouncing Werribee. He bounces off Gotch. Gets back up from O'Keefe. Fitzpatrick. Back to Knight. They mucked around a little bit too much, Werribee, and that's because there was nothing out on centre wing. They tried to delay and make something come about. Well, they've got a free kick, but a little bit lucky to get out of it. 11 possessions to Ricky Knight. Been in amongst it, very creative.
Good link player. He's been a good link-up player today.
Chris Hollow stretching the hamstring. Lesiputty in the middle of the pack.
Yes, a valid point you made earlier, Ross, that physical pressure exerted, you know, has really split Dandenong open a little bit.
On the northern side, in firmer conditions. Marshall to Darren Burke. Up towards Welsh. Reed at the fall of the ball. McMaster collected by Welsh. Still got the hand pass away all day. And Doyle tackling. Welsh, bit slow. Support from Burke though. McCormack. Millane will have to fly against two. Walsh too strong in the air. Off he goes.
Danaher sets himself. Nick McKenzie knew he was outnumbered when it hit the ground. This is Ricky Knight chipping towards O'Keefe. Good strength from Murray. Hall. Now it's Dennis Knight against Richard Geary. Geary finds the boundary line. 70 metres around from Werribee's goal. So far in this term, they've added 3 goals, 1. Dandenong yet to score. 2-point deficit turned into a 17-point lead. We've played 12 minutes into the quarter. McKenzie's kick. Reed overrunning it. Oh, good hands off there from McPherson to Eames. Not such a good kick. They've wasted that possession. Marshall, though, doesn't get it clear. Morgan. Eames will stop. Reassess. Goes to the running Ricky Knight.
Oh, they've just been carved up in midfield at the moment.
And making mistakes, Sam. Plenty of them.
Harris has led. Poor kick. I'm sure if it wasn't the captain coach, he wouldn't have kicked it to him. Murray's handball out to Dennis Knight. Oh, put the pressure right on Atkinson. Geary, well tackled by Atkinson. All day, can't get it past the feet of Tony Elshaugh.
The Red-Leg captain coach goes to half forward. Nice nudge by Millane. He's got Reed inboard. Chapman coming to save the day for the Tigers. But Millane's there. And Fitzpatrick and McPherson outnumber Millane 2-1. And Millane appealing for the free kick. That's not going to be given though.
Well, they've got to stop worrying about the free kicks. They're in a critical time in the game. They've just got to get on with the job and get a goal.
There it was. Make your own decision. Chapman. McMaster. Running support for Rod McPherson. Through half-back, looking for Lesiputty. Doyle got him across the face. It's a Dandenong crowd out that side. And Lesiputty goes to half-forward towards Drum with Hall. McCormack. Hall again on the end. Poor kick though, didn't really look. Straight to Allday. Eames. Running support, Normington. Gets past Burke. Little chip kick for Richard Geary.
Yeah, their ball distribution has been absolutely first class, Werribee. Conversely, Dandenong are just indiscriminately kicking, admittedly under a bit of pressure, but you know, even more seasoned campaigners are making just fundamental errors.
Playing off half-back. Richard Geary, 14 possessions. Murray there. And rushing it through Greg Doyle.
Oh, and those arms of Danaher almost brought that in.
By rights, the ball should have been punched through.
Yes.
Sam too. Bit slack in defence there, Dandy.
Halfway through the second quarter. It's a 3-goal lead for Werribee. Murray putting it up for McCormack. Lesiputty's fist. Over all day. McMaster. Drum couldn't get back on it. Harris going to be caught. Oh, Atkinson wouldn't let go of him. The proverbial terrier. McCormack. Murray. and he can keep going. A lot of Dandenong players calling for it. One of them's Elshaugh. Again, the captain coach gets delivered to. This is more direct. Rohan Welsh, spoilt well by Chapman. He's doing a good job on him. McPherson got it to Allday, who's playing a good link-up job in the middle. Long one from McMaster. Use of the body was great. McKenzie over the top, almost stole it away from Drum. Nowhere for Harris to go because the hands of McKenzie were back on top of a tremendous contest.
You're exactly right, Peter. Big leap from McKenzie.
Oh, it's sorry. We look at that leap.
Well, again, I think he should have gone the punch with the backhand through the points. Save the day. It's always going to be risky.
Now can Dandenong get out of this? Morgan. Down goes Geary. Burke on his wrong foot. Clears it temporarily at least.
I guess one guy we haven't made mention of at this point in time is the Werribee skipper, Damien Drum. He's done a heck of a lot of heavy work. A knock on here, you know, body work.
Neil Danaher. McKenzie will mark that. Over to Marshall. Now there is a paddock in front of Marshall. Wicks makes a lead. Marshall chips it short. Wicks about 80 metres from goal. Leading short Gotch. Now Millane. Thumps it long towards Welsh with Chapman. Easy work for Chapman. That's not working. Welsh at centre half forward. And Green at full forward.
Well, they're getting spread out, Ross. That's the problem. And when they're kicking, they haven't got enough players at the base of the pack. The ball's being rebounded, punched, set up by Werribee and run back along the ground, through the ground.
Wicks just didn't quite get it off quickly enough to read. And a Werribee player in some bother. And it's Richard Geary hobbling just to the right of this ball up. Some sort of leg problem. Bounce 40 metres out from Dandenong's goal. They could do with one here. Elshaugh bundles it only as far as McPherson. Oh, he's gone back into a very crowded area. That's Rohan Welsh over the football.
Geez, wonderful work by both sides there.
Now by Morrow throwing it up. McMaster couldn't clear it. Morgan. Normington. Chases on. Marshall with Lesiputty. Great battle between those two. And legs. Lesiputty was legged by Marshall. And Russell Marshall just giving away a few frees.
Stephen Sells on two.
Exuberant. Harris off for Werribee. Knight. McKenzie. Now it's in front of Neil Danaher.
Should he going wide?
No.
Darren Burke. Marshall. Backward of the wing. Good distance with his kick though. Doyle can hold that one. But good tackle on Eames from the big fellow. Dandenong have the numbers here. Rohan Welsh. Hasn't tried to get rid of it quickly enough. Nick Walsh. Wrestled clear by Millane. Ollie has his dander up.
Yeah.
So it's hard to get a kick out there at the moment.
Oh, is it a tough, uncompromising affair?
Gotch on his favoured foot. But the smothering's terrific. Nick Walsh. Chapman quite happy to see it over. Throw in midway between wing and half forward. Dandenong in attack. And
Captain coach
feeling
having
the pinch a little bit is
Leon Harris.
Leon Harris is a wrist.
He might be just a bit tired. Or got one in the midriff. He's been throwing himself in. Dennis Knight. Good gather. Lesiputty was there. He took pity on Dennis Knight. Didn't ride him into the fence. 19.5 minutes gone. Second quarter. 3-goal lead to Werribee. Never won a VFA Premiership in First Division. Ian Atkinson. Struggling up forward for the moment. Dandenong.
Gee, that was a poor choice.
Terrible, Sam.
It's the Jimmy Connors of VFA football. Greg Chapman.
Doesn't throw tantrums though.
No.
Neither does he.
Just looks like it and keeps on keeping on. Normington. got a handball of sorts across to Eames. Oh, he knew he had to be quick. Marshall sweating on him. Wicks spears it towards Rohan Welsh. Spoiled by Lesiputty, but there's Darren Reid hitting the post.
Tell you what, they needed that goal too, Dandy.
And they need this guy on screen to lift Reid. He's a vital part of their operation, a link player. Just not getting enough possessions at the moment, and there we see it run into the post.
Chapman's the target from the kick in. He's been paid. Seven marks taken by Greg Chapman at centre-half back.
Dandenong's first score for the quarter. Back behind McMaster. Drum coming with a run. Oh, it's been paid. I don't know who had first hands on it. Looks for Knight dropping back. He's on an angle. And Dennis Knight on the mark. Umpire Peter Carey comes in to check the angle as Eames is off for Werribee, the Liston medalist. Knight kicks beautifully to put Werribee 4 goals up at the 22-minute mark of the second quarter.
Yes, Ross, fine goal that one from Ricky Knight. He's had a great season, the ex-Williamstown player. Drum, ever cool. A smart piece of play, sees Knight on the lead, and Knight, you'll see it there, right on the boundary, and he puts it straight over the umpire's head. Dandy in trouble.
Dandenong have kicked one behind in the quarter. Werribee 4 goals 2. Normington tackled by Doyle, who ends up with the football. Race on. Reid allows Wicks to run onto it for Dandenong. Receives from him, hands back. Has to stop Elshaugh. Pulls down Chapman.
Welsh back at full forward for Dandenong.
Chapman pops the ball in there towards Rayburn, who's just come on. Reid's tap to Wicks. Millane. Elshaugh, not without a chance. Well, he can really hit the ball from a long way.
I think he knew he had to pull a big one out. Went for the torpedo. Not seen that often. It was a big, strong kick. Just the wrong side of the post. Need a goal, Dandenong, desperately.
McMaster, oh, could be costly. Gotch. Elshaugh hooks it too much. Ooh. And Welsh calling for it in the middle.
Gee, that was a bad miss. Normally a bread and butter shot for the talented captain coach.
But Sam, he needn't have kicked that ball round the corner. He could have kicked it end over end, you know, much safer.
I heard Tom Hafey yesterday on the 3LO football panel saying about the West Coast Eagles trying to kick around the corner in wet conditions, and it just doesn't come off. The margin for error is so much greater when the ball is heavy.
That's right.
Morgan. The only problem Werribee just finessing a little bit too much, perhaps playing a bit of a dry weather brand game, and it's coming unstuck a little bit. They could be in the process of burying Dandenong. Good tackle from McMaster on Gotch, who was put under pressure by Marshall, but now Elshaugh is clear again. He goes towards Rohan Welsh this time. Who's got the recovery? Millane. Chapman coolly just flips it back through for a behind.
Oh, that's a throw if ever I've seen one.
Well, it's funny, if that hadn't been delivered to a teammate, it would have been called a throw.
Exactly.
Because it went through.
Here it is now.
That has got to be a throw.
Well, there's been some call for the flick pass to come back, and that was a Ted Whitten special.
Was an off the ground flick? No, he didn't kick the ball to himself and not far enough there, so it's a ball up.
Not far enough, clear from hand and foot. Elshaugh can make amends. Good smother, Normington. Doyle over the shoulder. Wrong side again, hitting the post.
And Werribee got Danaher at full forward. Smart move that, conserving the veterans' legs and energy too, I might add.
Fitzpatrick goes short again. Chapman on his knees.
Have to work these kick-outs out, Danny. They're using zone defence, but they're getting cut up in the corridor.
Yes, it's a bigger corridor to cut off. Walsh. It is Nick Walsh. Sells pushed off the ball. McCormack marks. Bang. High one. All Werribee. Doyle from the side. And Millane was the culprit.
Yes, infringed. And they're really falling down badly across the half-forward line, Dandenong. Chapman's just reigned supreme across there. Intimating there's no one to kick to.
The calls come from Phil O'Keefe, who's right up in the middle. Green the mark.
Not a crowd roars, and there was nothing in it.
Well, Dandenong gets the sense that if they could get a goal here, they could get right back into it. As Werribee not making the most of the advantage as Burke goes to Rohan Welsh. Good mark.
Yes, Peter, I think they've been in a little bit of trouble, but they've fought back very well. It's just unfortunate for them they haven't put one of those goals through. He's gone on.
Anxiety on the face of Rohan Welsh. Hasn't got the distance, and all day calmly thumps it through.
Kicking from the worst part of the ground, Rohan Welsh was too. Extremely heavy in that pocket. Difficult for players to
good mark.
Gain traction.
Let's watch this kick in. See what they do this time.
3 goals the difference. It's Danaher up on half back.
How much territory they cover. Danaher at full forward a moment ago. Morgan's run strongly. Into centre half forward. Marshall with Drum. Marshall used his body well. Atkinson. Lots of pace. Wide to Elshaugh. Over the top McKenzie. Ooh. A hand on it from Normington was clever. 2 minutes into time on.
Well, they really are doing the team-orientated thing so very well. Werribee smothering, tackling, harassing.
It's 3 goals the difference. Werribee lead. All day, Elshaugh. All day over to Morgan. Chased by Burke. Into McCormack. Oh, gee, ran a long way. McMaster, brilliantly tackled by McKenzie.
Great tackle. Herb tackle.
You can hear that slap of body on body with our sound effects mic. Elshaw's in short.
Oh, that was great stuff, that. Oh, so that had to tackle players. Pin the arms, body.
Well, the play of the day so far. Looking for a Doyle mark, but Chapman, consummate defender, finds the boundary line. .28 minutes gone. Dandenong would love to get a major before half-time. They've kicked 6 behinds in this term. Back to the bad old days as Chapman knocks it down to Rayburn. Oh, bad handball that he's been downed after he got rid of it. And Werribee are lucky to keep possession because McKenzie was away.
Yeah, bad mistake.
Undisciplined by Green.
Long bomb towards O'Keefe. There are heaps of Tigers waiting for the crumbs. Stephen Sells does it better than anyone. His first kick as a goal in the grand final.
Well, how many times have we seen that, Peter? He came on late in the game against Dandenong in the second semi-final, kicked 2 telling goals, and the mercurial half-forward flanker. He reads the game so very well and positions himself accordingly.
So did Danaher, though.
Oh, yes.
The long kick. He saw that they had them outnumbered.
Came from a mistake too, Peter. Free kick down the field on Rayburn, and the ball had already gone to a Dandenong player. Warwick Green, I think, may have been reported there too.
There he is, the master of creativity and vision. Is Sells.
Yes, Warwick Green. Peter Carey had a look at his number. Now it must ruck. Out to Burke. Maybe time for Dandenong to get a quick one before half-time. They haven't kicked a goal this quarter. Wicks kick towards Welsh, but not getting the distance in the wet. McPherson intercepts. He's off, says the umpire. Wide out of trouble to Rayburn with fresh legs. Off interchange. Through McKenzie and Danaher. McCormack, been solid. Off to Wicks.
Werribee's quarter. And if they win the game, they've gone a long way towards doing it in that term. They've turned a 2-point deficit into a 24-point lead. They kicked 5 goals, 2 in that term. Dandenong kicked 6 behinds. For Werribee, all single goal kickers. Harris, Drum, O'Keefe, Morgan, Knight, Sells, Lesiputty, Eames off for Dandenong. Likewise, but only 4 goal kickers, as Elshaugh has some words to them before they go in for the big break. Millane, Welsh, Atkinson and Gotch have kicked their goals. A bit of work for Dandenong to do, but they're not out of it by a long way. Werribee, a very important goal just before half-time, though. They lead in the grand final at half-time by 24 points. From Oakley.
There's a chance. Briggs and again. Up towards Pretto. It's coming with a run. And a good mark to Reno.
Oh, that was a big jump, wasn't it? A big grab.
Mark 2. Jack Aziz, Williamstown. As you see the good running off the ball from McTaggart. After he gave it to Smith, he was still available if needed. Aziz! Oh, superb! He's an exciting player, all right, and he keeps going right to the end of a match. The big palm initially to get the other player out of the way. Mark 3, Dandenong's Rohan Welsh.
Never get to 13 possessions. Oh, Welsh! Is it Welsh? It'll have to be. Who else leaps that high? Rohan Welsh climbing over Barry Round, over Tony Pastori, and marking it horizontally.
Mark 4, Dean Crimes from Port Melbourne.
Oh, too strong. Sullivan. Crimes! That's a great mark.
Here's the mark from Dean Crimes.
That is the grab of the year, I think, Tone.
Mark 5, Andrew Button, Werribee.
Moving Danaher and Drum through the forward line.
Oh, that is a great mark. Oh, that was a superb grab. Look at this on screen.
And Mark 6, Port Melbourne's Max Gasparoni.
Hermione was just pushed in the middle of the back after he'd taken the mark. Gets up quickly. Gasparoni! Oh, what a grab with his crook hand.
Well, that's what they need, a couple of marks up there and a bit more directness in their play.
The mark of the year, and I'm sure this will make Barry Round just grin like hell, goes to Rohan Welsh of Dandenong.
Here, a bit of a lay-down Mazaire. I think he's still bouncing there in the goal square, Rohan Welsh. I hope he gets to Princess Park on the weekend. Well done to Rohan, and hope you accept it on his behalf, Peter. Thank you, Peter. Yorgie, Port Melbourne. His kick goes straight to Harkins. Yorgie. Oh, Cine just bounced off Yorgie. Another superb goal. Brett Yorgie from almost an identical position has put the Boroughs 6 points in front. Goal 2, Frankston's Stephen Hamill. Stephen Hamill direction, around Morgan well. Terrific effort, what a goal! Goal 3, Rohan Welsh from Dandenong.
Staved off the first charge. That's Welsh. Off the ground again, goal number 6.
Goal 4, Ashley Byrne, Box Hill.
The forward line.
Taken away here by Byrne. Great skills, sold the dummy as he capped it off. Tremendous play. Finishing off the corner as he began it. Goal 5, Coburg's Ken Ingram. Sets up Ingram. Well, can he kick it? 50 metres plus in these conditions is a huge ask. The SWAT squad have done their job here. Not a bad effort. What a kick! I think Ingram's even surprised himself. And goal 6, Frank Regolo from Sandringham. Regolo has about 2 metres on Hogan. Wheeling around onto the left foot. Oh, number 4! And the best of the lot.
And I'm sure in 20 years from now he'll have said it went 75 yards, not 50. Ken Ingram of Coburg, and to accept the award, Phil Cleary, the Coburg coach.
Well, it's time to test those lungs again. It's time to travel to the grounds once more. It's time to go and watch the big men fly. Feel the excitement in the air. To scream at the men in white, unfair! And cheer your heroes on to win or die. Down the race to the sacred soil. All the months of sweat and toil. They burst through the banner to the sound of a mighty roar. It's the sport of champions, the sport of champions. Yes, Aussie rules okay. There grand final day. To see a team kick right away in the final sign resound to a mighty roar. It's the sport of champions, the sport of champions. Yes, Aussie rules okay. There is nothing quite the same as our famous footy game. Yes, Aussie rules okay. It's the sport of champions, the sport of champions. Yes, Aussie rules okay. There is nothing quite the same as our famous footy game. Yes, Aussie rules
The team orientated things well enough.
Well, Hollow's gone on to Danaher, McKenzie's gone to full forward, Doyle to centre half forward.
I'd like to see Marshall somewhere across that forward line too. That vigour and strength of his, I feel, could be a telling factor.
Warwick Green goes into ruck against All Day. It goes to Hall. Wicks. Better judgment from Rayburn. The ponytail flapping in the breeze. His handball finds McMaster. Good position here for Harris. Leon Harris, 40 out. On the overlap, it's Morgan. What a start for the Tigers! And isn't he pumped up, Darren Morgan? He's got the bit between his teeth, and they're looking good. They lead by 30 points.
Well, he's done a couple of inspirational things in this game. He's had a fine game, won that second quarter, and then now in the opening seconds of this quarter, what a start by Werribee. They did it well from midfield with McMaster. Onto Harris. Quick hands onto Morgan, and what a fine snap. And they have got a monumental task ahead of them now, Dandenong.
The two 14s go at it again. Elshaugh has a passage clear for him. Gotch, the little legs pumping. Ricochet to Wicks. Brad Gotch, good distance on the kick. Rohan Welsh. Oh, good mark. But he might have paid the penalty for it too.
Peter, I think it's clear with Welsh, the best option with him is to put the ball high, in close into goal and give him the chance on the run. I mean, sometimes he's got to play from behind. He's just that kind of player. But when the ball's kicked high, Sam, he's a bit unsettling, isn't he? You don't know where he'll come from. Fly over the top of you and pluck a big one, and that was a very good mark.
Well, big leapers, Phil, you know yourself. You know, they put enormous pressure on the defenders, and they know they're against a player that's got the capacity to jump all over their shoulders. They're always looking out.
Now, how's he recovered after that strong mark? 20 metres out, almost directly in front. He's kicked one for the day. It's a shocker.
Well, that's a kick of a player who's well down on confidence, Peter. Yeah, that was just a dreadful indiscretion. And I just hope it doesn't reverberate throughout the side.
Fitzpatrick into the centre square. Doyle, easy pickings. Atkinson. Now it's McKenzie they're looking for this time. 2 to beat. Discretion the better part of valour, and for the second time Normington knocks the ball into the post, and Millane staging a little bit there against McPherson. He won't want to test out Rod McPherson, I don't think.
I think it'd be pretty evens each or two there, Pete.
Normington.
I think they've got a man up on the kick-in, Sam.
Yes.
Chapman, mark number 9, not quite. Oh, the numbers with Dandenong here. Millane. Good vision for Gotch. The backup coming from Rohan Welsh. What's he like on the run? Oh, good running from Wicks. This has to be a goal. Just what the Redlegs wanted. Their first goal for over a quarter, kicked by Richard Wicks.
And Welsh, we'll see on replay, he did very well. Good vision, didn't panic. Gotch built the mark, and Welsh here didn't panic, spotted the right option.
Yes, and went for the longest handball, didn't he? The old adage, longest handball to the free player. Good goal. plenty left in the game, although one suspects Werribee have the front running. And 4 goals up, you'd expect that.
22 points is their lead. In case you're just joining us, in the under-19s, it was Frankston over Box Hill by 33 points, Paran by 10 points over Coburg in the reserves.
Drum feeds it off to McMaster. Fine tackle, Doyle. Loose ball, Elshaugh. Thumps at goal, McKenzie in front, stretches. In comes Gotch. Millane paddles it out. Welsh goes down. Pressure on the Werribee backs. Millane goes down again. Hall. Welsh around the corner and through. The Redlegs on the march.
Well, you know, there, Sam, they went at the ball like they fair dinkum wanted it, didn't they? Made every option really come to fruition.
Good comment, Phil. Body's in.
Yeah, good stuff here, and Hall on his wrong foot, see, so he decides on the handball. Good thinking of Welsh round the corner. Those round the corner kicks, they worry you, but that one, I suppose, was necessary.
This is a carbon copy of the first quarter.
Yes.
Werribee get the first goal, then Dandenong hit back. They've kicked 2 in 2. Can they equal the first quarter effort of 3 in 3? It came off the foot of the flying green. Free kick for Hall.
Yes, against Drum.
Well, that centre bounce is critical too. Warwick Green going right in and jumping early.
Conditions perfect now. And here's McKenzie. Whoa, there was no stopping him. Take that, Richie Rayburn, he says.
That's what
Get out of me, Rad, little fella. I've got the ball.
He pushes that big chest out. There was no stopping him. He had the lead in front of Walsh. Going for 3 goals in 3 minutes, Dandenong. Not quite the distance or the accuracy.
Well, he might have missed a goal, Peter, but when he finally realised this lad, the amount of strength that he has got, you know, he's going to be a far better player, because very few players have the capacity to assert the amount of authority that big men have. And he is one big man. He's given them a bite down there.
He's cocky enough, Sam.
Well, he's certainly not introverted, you're right.
Oh, got to do something with the kick-ins, Danny. I've said it a few times, but they're really getting cut up.
McMaster to McPherson. To Fitzpatrick. Strong work off the ball by Drum. Hollow is working on Danaher. Who's holding who? Darren Hall and Leon Harris clash, and there'll be a throw in.
What's Harris? Is he 100% fit, Ross?
I think he's okay. Well, I don't think he's been 100% fit all year, but he's...
Didn't you ask him?
No,
Didn't you say Phil was thinking you were looking a bit frail?
Lean, that's right. Elshaugh off to Chris Hollow, who's on and playing at centre half back.
Just a smart bit of play there. He knew if he kicked it in the air, it was a Werribee mark, so he put it straight to the deck and bounced it.
There's Harris on the left, marked by McCormack. Green, work, Knight left it behind. Darren Burke running out of space. And a good kick into touch.
Good percentage football.
Well, people tuning in might think they're at the rugby, but they're not. We're at the VFA Grand Final.
This is the best part of the ground, surface-wise. Burke hits solidly. Atkinson gets there. Oh, good tackle on Morgan. The whistle gone before that.
Yes.
Atkinson held without after hand passing.
Doyle calling for it. He would appear to be the best option. No, here's Marshall in the middle. Pulled the man back onto it, McCormack, and a good mark. Past goes Darren Burke.
Got numbers.
Oh, they've got numbers all right, Sam. Marshall will hold it up a little bit and go long. He's got the high flyers, Welsh and McKenzie back there. Oh, Millane hit it at pace, couldn't take it with him. Rayburn, good handball to Normington. Here's McPherson, he is so cool. Fitzpatrick. McMaster. Drum. Damien Drum tucks it under the arm. Beautiful kick to Danaher. Geary goes past. On the inside, he goes instead towards O'Keefe. Marshall. Oh, what a run back in the game now. Hall. Out wide, Wicks. Got support from Elshaugh. Difficult one for Elshaugh. Not a good delivery to him. Put him under unnecessary pressure, and they've lost the advantage there. And Elshaugh is dirty.
Gee, that was a bad possession. That could have been telling. They had Werribee spread And just prior to that marking contest, McKenzie and Welsh have to be careful not to infringe with each other.
And McKenzie at full forward, Welsh in the pocket for Dandenong. Centre wing, loose ball, almost it does stop. Drum,
Great tackle. Magnificent
and
tackle.
wins the free kick, Dennis Knight, and Drum might be hurt. Trainers at Tenningham, there it is, pinned to the ground and ridden on the shoulder. Up to half forward go Dandenong, but Chapman in the way. Out of half forward, Marshall leaping at the back with a good fist, Atkinson with the run. Long one, McKenzie at the back. Spoils at 3-on-1 on ground level. Chapman a little risky punch towards Normington. McMaster sees it over.
Good play, McKenzie. Great bump. The pressure's really on in the grand final. Great bump there, McKenzie.
Well, they've lifted a notch in their aggression for the ball.
14 points the difference as Chapman got it down to McMaster. Good handball to Rayburn. Too good was that handball to Geary. And you can tell the pressure is coming on the Tigers. They're not pinpointing their passes as well as they were. Now Green goes back to do the ruck work. Gotch waiting for it, but Allday got to the ball first. There's Drum putting his body in. Knight off the ground. Hollow, his first possession, a handball of sorts. Good play, Atkinson, to get it to Gotch, who's legged. Advantage played. Here's Hollow again. Knight. Thumping kick to within 50. Pressure coming on to McPherson. He doesn't find McMaster. Rare mistake. Taken by Wicks. He can make up for not giving it to Elshaugh earlier. But he hasn't.
Handball over the top would have made an absolute certainty of the goal. Chose to kick it himself. We'll see it here. Great pressure by Elshaugh and Millane. Now you'll notice the player coming out. Could have just popped it over.
Yes. A wonderful vehicle call hindsight. If he had that back again, Phil, I'm sure he would have opted for the handball over the top. Drum coming off. Obviously hurting that tackle.
Stephen Sells on for the Tigers. Doyle in front. Welsh cleverly to Elshaugh. He knew he was there. Elshaugh running the wrong way. No support. Round the shoulder with good vision. Over Green's head. Over the top. Atkinson will run. Chased down by Geary. McKenzie alone in the square. He tried to mark it on his chest.
Gee, the good kick would have made a certainty of it too, Sam. The kick dropped short.
Oh, I like McKenzie in this aggressive mood. He's got that quality called presence, Phil. They're starting to look around.
Lesiputty's gone from the forward line to the back line, and he's worth his weight in goal there. Two people spinning out of packs when it gets tight.
Yes, there's a lot of feeling out there, Peter.
It's 20 metres out from the Dandenong goal. The momentum with the Redlegs at the moment. Millane, is it time for a miracle? Not quite. He kicked a harder one than that last week.
Oh, I suppose. Yes, Peter.
Those points are tallying up though, aren't they? 6-11. It's been their weakness, not converting.
But in all fairness, the Werribee defence has been responsible for a lot of those near misses.
Now, can Dandenong block this kick-off? No, they can't. McMaster's got free. Elshaugh cribs over the mark. Fitzpatrick's leading towards the boundary line. In the middle of that pack. Lovely roving from Normington. Still in play, Sells. "13 minutes gone, third quarter. It's 13 points in favour of Werribee. Dandenong perhaps to the scoring end. As Doug Gow puts it in. Lovely from Green to Gotch. Up towards Doyle and Chapman. Through Millane. Welsh off the ground. Lovely. Elshaugh. Plenty of time. I wonder if he knows. He doesn't go over the top. McKenzie shoots at goal, and finally they get a major. But perhaps he might have better have been to a hand pass.
Oh, what a classical bit of roving by Gotch. Green palmed it down to him.
It was a set play, wasn't it, Sam? You could see it before the ball was thrown in what was going to happen.
And Millane did well knocking it on. Welsh cleverly off the ground.
On the left foot, kick off the ground. Tony Elshaugh, well, he could have handballed that, took the punt, but the 6 points resulted anyway.
Well, he missed a few in the second quarter. Perhaps he thought, I've got to get on the board. And he kicked it. He thought he had to show a bit of leadership there. And now they're within 7 points, the Redlegs. Almost taken by Burke, but hands in the pack were better from Werribee. Here's Burke, though, back in there. Got one high.
Gee, it's a wonderful contest from both sides. You know, it is a credit to both sides. The fitness, dedication and commitment just could not be questioned.
Green. Umpire Morrow gets a good bounce on the centre wicket area. McCormick tries to wrestle it clear. Down goes Rayburn. Well,
good umpiring.
Yes.
The ball was moving, though. You could have nearly let it go.
He did let it go.
Oh, he could have let it go a bit further.
Yeah, right. Sorry, Peter.
Sells. Better positioned here is Hall.
Oh.
Made it look simple. Marshall. They might miss drum a little bit now. Doing those hard things in the middle. Millane. If he gets his tail up, it's pretty hard to stop. Atkinson.
Been a fine play, and Atkinson's lifted this quarter.
Leading deep into the pocket is McKenzie. And fighting across in front, Fitzpatrick. A few clever old heads back there in defence for Werribee.
Yes, old heads prevail.
Well, oldish, 24. McMaster. Well, should have stayed down, I think.
Haven't seen a 50-metre penalty in the game.
We've seen about 5 all year.
Green's got the front position all day, won it. Good work from Wicks to Hall. McKenzie coming from a run, but Doyle stands his ground.
You can see that, Phil. You actually nominated seconds prior to the mark.
He has got great hands, this bloke. 12 possessions. He is not the best kick in the world, Sammy.
No. You'll see the execution. More importantly, the application, the way he drops the ball. He screws it. We see it closely. The way he drops it on the boot.
A little bit of breeze behind him for Greg Doyle. It's all right. Is it? Yes, and to within 1 point. Dandenong trailed by just a single point.
Certainly nothing wrong with the effectiveness, Phil.
I tell you what, Sam, Warwick Green's had a big say in this third quarter revival to the ruckman.
Yes.
Good hands there to Hall. He's been effective, Hall. A big, long kick. That's how they like them, the dandy forwards. And look at this bloke, Doyle, been a great player in the finals.
You know, it's just really the attitude that's turned the thing around, their aggression.
Well, I think, Sam, Chrissy Hollow back on Danaher and McKenzie into the forward line. That's helped too.
Oh, that's given them a tremendous lift, Ross.
Well, he had to make moves, Elshaugh. The game was really drifting away from them. Good tactics.
Yes, Mick Hawking and Cameron Clayton, chairman of selectors and football manager respectively, have been known to pull some good moves.
Well, they're astute footballing people. Lengthy football backgrounds.
They've kicked 4 goals, 5 in this quarter, Dandenong. Werribee have added just 1 goal. Rayburn, whistle's gone. It's a Dandenong free.
Darren Hall.
Oh, that was fortuitous, wasn't it?
$5-0, the free kick count in the quarter. Dandenong are getting in front, and Welsh is starting to hold some marks.
Well, it's a wonderful dual-pronged attack when they're firing. Both Welsh and McKenzie are wonderful options.
They've all stayed back. The talk drops 10 metres out. Chapman's punch worked that time. Roving Gotch on the wrong side, but it doesn't matter. Dandenong hit the front. 5 points up. We've played 18 minutes in this third quarter. That has been all Redlegs.
Well, they've arrested the deficit in the space of 17 minutes, Phil, and that factor we were talking about prior to the game.
Look at Gotch on the right foot, though, Sam, to swing it back. And Doyle, of course, always hard to beat, created the goal by putting the big hands up.
The youthful legs we were talking about, Phil, that preparation.
Yes, Sam.
Now we've got a game of footy. Rayburn, all crunched by McCormack. He recovers well though, Rayburn. Off to Morgan. Up to full forward, Danaher in front. Green bustles his way through. Hollow over the top. Marshall was clever to Atkinson. Half back, loose is Gotch. Dandenong looked composed, although that wasn't so good by Gotch. Knight blocks it in with O'Keefe.
Actually did very well, Gotch, because there was nothing further afield for him to kick to, just a sea of bees.
Good get,
so he tried to screw the ball inside his boot.
Atkinson only as far as Morgan.
It's a new collective now, Sam.
Yes, it was, Ross. I just didn't have time to correct it because the action was so furious.
It was a swarming sea, Sam. As Knight sits down, I don't think he's had a possession in this quarter. Eames has come on. Hall guarding him. Atkinson again close to the boundary line.
Gee, Warwick Green's worth watching too in the ruck, Peter. Boundary throw-ins and centre bounce. He's giving it every bit he's got.
He's the 14 on the right. All day. Gets front position. Cleary couldn't take it with him. Rayburn. One of the better games he's played of late, Rayburn, I think, since coming on from interchange. Marshall using his body on Walsh. O'Keefe to Sells. Makes it difficult for himself. But the thing's ever difficult for that man. What a goal!
Well, explain his father describe him at times, doesn't it, Phil?
You've got a few up your sleeve, though, Sam. I'm sure you can find one.
Just superb shot for goal. Look at this Sells.
On the left, on the wrong side for a left footer, and that is a pearler. What a game.
Threaded it through the eye of a needle. Well, well, well.
What a timely goal. It's put them back in front. 20 minutes gone, third quarter.
Field medalist in second division, Stephen Sells. Werribee stalwart, Normington. In the way, Nick Murray. 21 minutes gone, third term. Long kick by Murray towards Doyle and Chapman. Another spoil by Chapman. Welsh a paddle on towards Elshaugh. Feeds it back to Darren Burke. Welsh. Enough numbers have Dandenong. Doyle gives it to Wicks. McKenzie and Lesiputty. McKenzie a push. And Jeff Morrow was letting it go. Well, Jeff Morrow was caught downfield, perhaps in a bad position. Didn't see it, mustn't have.
It was the old-fashioned two hands in the back push.
That was a push, Sam.
Yes, it was a nudge, Ross.
And Dandenong back in front through McKenzie.
And, you know, you talk about the value of team-orientated play. This passage of play which led to the goal, we'll see the nudge here. But Welsh, what about Welsh's knock-ons and Elshaugh's fine hand passing? They really worked hard to retain possession. And out of persistence, the opportunity evolved. And this man on screen kicked truly and put the Redlegs back in front.
6 goals to 2 in this quarter, which is 22 minutes old. That one will be hotly debated. Should it be that close at the finish?
Ooh, we might be back here next week, Peter.
Yeah. Allday wins that one. Oh, that's Marshall at pace. Well caught though. Rayburn got back in there. Geary, quick hands to McMaster. Front position for Eames. 40 out, 45-degree angle.
Gee, the players are quick in close with their hands, Sam, aren't they? Under pressure and just sweeping it out so quickly. You've really got to work hard in those clinches.
I'm losing track of the ball, Phil. It's moving from one end of the ground to the other at such a rapid pace.
Through a boggy patch, Eames gets a good hit on the ball. It's there. Werribee back in front.
This is just a fantastic game of football. It has got everything, and the quick hands you were speaking about, Phil, McMaster's kick, and Eames, who just come off the interchange bench, kicked a timely goal to put Werribee back in front.
Well, a fraction higher, and the kick's going to be punched by Hall, but it was spot on, led straight into the ball, Eames.
That's 4 lead changes in the quarter. In 4 minutes. Can't get much more exciting than that. Dandenong's turn now. Green, Chapman. Marshall has a paddock on southern side of the ground, the university side. runs his distance, looks for Burke. It was just a bit far. Chapman's weary legs paddle it over. Umpire Morris says it's okay.
He was quite content to see it over then.
Fitness is going to tell. 24 minutes gone. Doyle again battles. Chapman, as usual, over the top. Rayburn couldn't get away from Millane.
That's a great tackle.
Wins the free, Millane. Now he looks for Welsh in short. Welsh on the lead. Through the pack. Harris weaves his way out of trouble. Good smother from Rohan Welsh. Werribee under pressure. Harris drops it. Bad hand pass to Rayburn. They're really in a spot of bother all day. Twisting, turning. Where to go, they say. Harris. The pressure is relentless. Picked up by Gotch. He shoots it goal. And Beverly kicks it.
That is the most sensational.
And Dandenong back in front.
Sam. Good, you can't get excited about this. There's something wrong with you. 3 goals to Gotch, and from relentless pressure and look at the tackles. And Gotch says, leave it to me, I'll sink it, and he does. What a goal. What a game.
Phil, but I thought one of the greatest rudiments of our game has been the high marking, but after watching some of the tackling here today, I feel that might have taken precedence. Been absolutely superb. Where do they find the energy?
We're into time on. 5 lead changes. Atkinson avoids the trip from Rayburn. McKenzie leaves it because Normington was there to go for the line.
Oh, the section of the boundary line, Peter. They were happy to see that.
Now, legs. Pace.
Yes.
So important.
Ten goals kicked in the quarter, 7 of them are by Dandenong. Oh, that's inspirational smother from Big Doyle. Rayburn's caught. Wicks made a few blues in this quarter, but he's kept at it. Atkinson caught. Walsh was the tackler, not rewarded. The crowd thought he should have been. Marshall, quick exchange. Wicks. Again, he hasn't scored, but it might come out all right. McKenzie, who's to support him? Oh, he could have nearly been pinged for holding it.
No, I think he got it out.
Well, yes. Oh, this is just one of the great grand finals and one of the great games.
Up goes from Peter Carey. And Chapman heads straight for the line.
Haven't they just run at that ball? Throwing caution to the wind.
A minute and a half into time on third quarter. Dandenong by 5 points. Will it be more? Welsh, high but wide. Stretches the margin to a goal.
Well, the talls have really had an effect in this quarter, Phil, haven't they? Welsh, McKenzie, Doyle, Green.
We're linking up better now, Dandenong, Sam. Not going quite as wide, getting those tight balls out, and getting the ball into the corridor.
The counting possessions.
Millane organising the zone defence more tightly.
Yes, they needed to, Ross. That was a worry early.
And breaking is Eames,
as we
found
speak.
by McPherson. What's up for Normington? Oh, Murray, he was able to deal with O'Keefe and then take the mark.
You talk about courage and aggression and commitment. This guy just epitomises all those things.
Throw in. Midway between wing and half forward. Dandenong. Well, there'll be a few more minutes left in this third term. They'd like another goal or two. The mud-spattered face of Greg Doyle. McMaster feeds off to Allday. Good handball. Richard Geary had to be quick and was. In comes Harris. Now the pressure on Dandenong. They're being forced deeper into the Werribee zone. Great play from Darren Burke. His father would have been proud of him then.
Oh, I just thought the worst was going to happen then. Both vying for possession.
The Melbourne great Barry Burke.
Yes.
Out here in person. There's a lot of former Dandenong greats here as well. That 71 premiership side, just about all here. They'd be proud of what they're seeing from the modern day Redlegs. Werribee looking to make some history of their own. They're 6 points down. We've played 28.5 minutes in the third quarter.
Marshall's caught behind. He tries a knock-on. Danaher wins a free. Advantage paid, though. Eames to Leon Harris. Inside 50. Short to Walsh. In a bit of space, Nick Walsh. Hooking and missing.
Yes, well, the short game got unstuck on that occasion.
He wouldn't have made the distance.
No. Oh, gee. He could have gone another 5 metres.
He was in a bog.
Yes, maybe so, Peter.
Walsh probably could have done better. Elshaugh.
Murray still going. Good play. He's run 50 metres. Knight. A lot of leads. One of them coming from Atkinson, but just too strong a kick. Geary. There's pointing from just about every player on the ground, telling Geary where to go. He's gone to Sells. Good strength. Hollow. He showed maturity in this final series. He hasn't had a lot of minutes on the ground.
Yes, Peter.
He's got a big job on Neil Danaher. Kick 6 in the second semi did Neil Danaher. Always dangerous.
Nearly 30 minutes gone. Atkinson pounces on it. Long one. McKenzie running hard at it. Millane. Quick hands to Wicks was good. Wicks run down. Surely holding the ball. Interception, luckily, for the umpire, I think, by Fitzpatrick.
Oh, he should have kicked that ball a couple of strides earlier. Thought he had the strength to break the tackle, but it was a fine tackle. Desperate lunge by Rayburn.
Tremendous.
Wicks has had a quarter he'd rather forget, I think. Morgan's handball. Hall, dual field medalist in second division, goes down. McMaster, good handball to Walsh. Atkinson's got a bit of toe, but Walsh just that metre or two. Good use of the body from Harris. Burke sticking to him and giving away the free kick. Advantage paid, it Sells, who rarely makes a mistake on his favoured left foot, but he did it there.
Yes, he normally puts those away, Peter. But Harris, wasn't that a bit of experience there, the way he outmanoeuvred Darren Burke.
31 minutes gone. We've had 11 goals in the quarter. Can't be much time left. Chris Hollow wide to Wicks. Rayburn with him. Good effort by Knight to knock Rayburn aside. Luckily, Green has support from Gotch. Back to Wicks. He certainly had a lot of the ball. Let's see if he can use it this time. He has done pretty well finding Welsh.
Oh, great vision. Great kick.
Right there, then you wanted it.
Too far out, I think.
It's a heavy ball. Could be right, Phil. Although he is a prodigious kick. Opting for the torpedo.
13th possession to Welsh. Wow. Increases the margin to 5 points.
That added distance, just the accuracy wasn't there.
10 goals in the quarter, not 11.
2 goals, 3 from Rohan Welsh. Well, it took a while to get the siren to hold for long enough, but it is three-quarter time. 10 goals in the quarter, 7 of them to Dandenong, and 3 kicked by Werribee. Goal kickers for Dandenong, who have a 5-point lead. Multiples from Gotch, who has kicked 3, and Welsh, who's kicked 2. The rest singles, while for Werribee, 2 apiece to Eames, Sells, Morgan. A last man standing, last quarter in store here at Princes Park. Dandenong have wrested the lead off Werribee. They're 5 points up with a quarter of the grand final to go. Looking to his red legs.
Tackling and chasing and harassing. And we've got a number of goals just through turning the ball over with some terrific tackling and chasing. There's good running, Wixie. Just make more use of the ball you've got, okay? Make more use. Well, only talks, but somebody's got to push over and shepherd to give him a free run when he has got the ball. The backs were good. Backs were good, nice and tight. Just don't allow Leon to... What he's going to do every time is let you go, Berkey. He's going to get you to go underneath the ball and then be able to run off and sock it off the ground. Stay behind stuff. So you have to use your body and not allow him just to get you underneath the ball. It was good work, McKenzie at the ball. You've got to keep running hard at the ball, keep leading. The Welsh just want you either drop him behind, or if the option is there, to lead. Okay, we need a lift. This is your chance. I know you're crook. Come on. I know you're crook. He's crook as a dog, but he's giving us a lift with our powers. Come on, Walsh. Giving us a lift, which is bloody good. Forwards, keep leading, keep working. We're hitting the ball much harder.
So Rohan Welsh, crook as a dog.
Well, he must have the flu, Peter, so it's a big effort by the young fella.
Displayed great character, Phil, hasn't he?
He certainly looked dazed all day. I didn't know if it was the result of a knock, but well, he's battling away there. Kicked 2-3, but it was Werribee that got the first of the term.
Yes, Peter, and when Harris gives it over to Morgan and that trusty left foot goes into action with a goal, you would have thought that Werribee, with close to a 5-goal break early in the quarter, would go on with the job, but Rohan Welsh had other plans. Took the big mark, missed the goal, unfortunately. Millane, he's been busy. And Gotch, he has been a key player in this quarter. And there's Welsh again. Over to Wicks. Goal. And that's the sort of football that's won the game back for them, or won the quarter for them. The tackles and the harassing. And McKenzie up forward, good target. Millane gets the ball out. Oh, it's really hot in there, I can tell you. Millane over to Hall. On his wrong foot, his right foot there, decides to hand it over to Welsh. Smart thinking, Welsh round the corner, makes up for the previous miss. And the Redlegs are away.
And look, you don't see that too often, a ball actually coming to a halt.
And that typified their game.
What a important tackle that was on Drum, because he took no further part in the game.
Elshaugh round the corner again. Oh, those ones really hurt the opposition and help you.
Darren Hall, who had a fine quarter then, Phil, you're right. A big Doyle at centre-half forward gave him a lift, but I felt the talls really influenced this quarter. Welsh, Green in the ruck, Doyle, and big McKenzie, I thought was a fine tactical move by Dandenong, putting big McKenzie with his height and strength and enthusiasm and effervescence, and he really played a vital part. And that mark was, you know, while he just outmanoeuvred Fitzpatrick on that occasion. But we said at half-time that, you know, the side that did the hard things the best deserved to be in front, and that was Werribee. But by gee, in that quarter, Dandenong did all the hard team-orientated things so very well. Eames coming in off the interchange bench, kicked the timely lead to give Werribee back the lead. And I think the lead changed 4 or 5 times in the space of 4 minutes. Peter, in that quarter, was a fine game of football.
And the tackling there, Millane laying another one.
It was a feature of the quarter, Peter. The tackling, it was just this passage of play here, which ultimately leads to Gotch scoring the goal. I think there were 4 or 5 tackles laid by Dandenong, which were just absolutely brilliant. The stats for the quarter, well, they greatly favour Dandenong, as you could appreciate. Kicks, handballs, the aerial superiority became quite pronounced that quarter. The frees favoured them as well, because their aggression to the ball was also quite prominent. Hit-outs, well, that was in Werribee's favour, but the hit-outs might be a bit misleading, because they did very well in the engine room there, where they ran onto the ball with great venom and a lot of tenacity.
Well, Ross Booth was around the Werribee huddle during that three-quarter time break. Just a word on Damien Drum. Will he come out in the second last quarter, Ross?
Well, I'm not sure. He's tracksuited up at the moment, which is not a good sign from Werribee's point of view. I think it might be the shoulder, because you saw him ridden into the ground in that tackle. So I don't think Drum will be available. He looks pretty sore. And Leon Harris addressing the players sounded very, very tight. I think that quarter took a lot out of Werribee. They looked pretty down in the huddle. Bernie Shea in the background calling the kick long. Leon Harris asking for the ones in short. Keep looking for those ones in short. But I don't know. I feel it's Dandenong.
Oh, Werribee's got the win though.
And as John Bell said, that's where the majority of the goals have been kicked in this match. It's all day. He's putting himself in. Doing it solo in the ruck. Oh, there's Harris. If he's tired, he didn't show it. He hit the ball at pace there. And they've got loose men. This is McMaster. Plenty of time to size it up. Well, his teammates didn't know what he was doing. Welsh has left his man, Murray. Pressure on Rayburn, but he's got it right across the face of goal. Did well there. That could have easily gone out on the full.
It's going to be an energy-sapping 30 minutes or so, Peter.
And there's Damien Drum, fully track-suited. So that doesn't look good for them. And Knight, who had such a good second quarter, cooling his heels. Green gets it down. The ruckman can do it again in bright sunshine. Spring is producing some sunshine at last. And it's Neil Danaher who's rucking. Eames doing the roving there. Danaher against Green. Hasn't kicked a goal yet, Danaher. 6 straight in the second semi. Doubtful handball out there to Hall. Harris keeps it in. No. Well, there's hardly any boundary line there. They've worked so hard, the ground staff here, with the super sopper and the roller, that it just about obliterated the boundary line there. Atkinson not wanting to take possession. Now some weary players roll off the footy. It's a 5-point lead for Dandenong. Very spongy on this forward flank. Green getting it about 20 metres. Burke can't knock it out. It just sits there in the plasticine. Then he throws it over. And that one's been paid as deliberate.
No. Probably was deliberate. We had a couple of those.
We've got vivid memories of last year, Phillip.
Indeed we have, Sam.
Eames squares it. Danaher stays down. Polo. Gee, I'm impressed with what I've seen of him, though the kick not so good. Millane. McPherson spoiling. Eyeball to eyeball with Sean Millane.
Wherever there's a camera, Sean Millane will spot it. Rayburn, tackled by Atkinson. Kept back in play for momentarily by Geary. There's the captain coach, Tony Elshaugh, the red leg man in charge. Doyle rucking again with all day. Wicks. Gotch pulled off the ball. Chapman. Man loose, Rayburn. They need his run. O'Keefe on a lead. Poor kick straight to Green.
Accepting it as the back pocket. Dennis Knight. And taking the mark, Lyndon Fitzpatrick at half back. McPherson. You have a go, Linton. Oh, he does have a go. Clears the centre. Dandenong have the numbers. Murray. Spreading it out to Knight. Millane now on the opposite side of the ground from where we saw him a moment or two ago. He's 50 metres from goal. Now he's 40. He's kicked it. No, was it just touched on the line? Somehow I think Fitzpatrick might have got past the shepherd and McKenzie and touched it through. Well, it's an even goal, the difference.
4 minutes.
I don't know what quite to say at the moment. I'll think about it for a minute.
Always a wise move, Phillip and Sam. Of the 4 minutes have elapsed. The lead from Welsh. The foot in by Harris. Chapman. That looked tired. From the centre half back. Gotch looks sprightly. McPherson finds Harris alone at half back flank. Running in support in borders Lyndon Fitzpatrick. Thought about giving it back to Harris. Now he does. They've got it to half forward. O'Keefe leading to the pocket. Away from Murray. Murray not letting him round. Giving it away. McCormack. Nice and composed.
Oh, got space here, Ross.
Darren Burke. 50 metres clear. Chooses to kick to Welsh. McKenzie now leads in the forward pocket. Bit too tall for, a bit too long the kick for Brett McKenzie, but they moved that pretty well.
See, Nick Murray's been a great player at full back on Phillip O'Keefe.
I think he's only kicked the one goal, O'Keefe.
In a bit of trouble early, it seemed, but really got it on top.
McKenzie, you saw, waiting for the outcome of this ruck duel. Taken by Elshaugh. Now they've got to work to keep it in there, the Redlegs. Played 5.5 minutes of this last quarter. No goal kicked as yet. Rayburn, former Williamstown player, goes right down the spine, looking for Danaher. Hall. Wicks. McCormack hit it at full pace, directly in front from 50. Touched again. 7 points is the lead for Dandenong.
Gee, that was good play by Hall, I think it was, to bring the ball back into the corridor. Was tempted to go wide, but thought about it quickly, brought it back in, and the ball was driven right to the square.
Werribee aiming for their first VFA flag ever in First Division. They trail by 7 points. Wicks gets a lucky free. Square to Atkinson at half forward. He bombs in the Welsh direction. Doyle's there too, but Welsh is too strong.
Oh, and Doyle did so very well, putting Fitzpatrick out of the contest, allowing Welsh a free run at the ball.
7 marks to Rohan Welsh.
Well, as I said a few times, Sam, you put that ball up in the air and the boy really is hard to beat. 15 possessions. They say he's sick. He's not sick of marking the ball.
Rohan Welsh for number 3. Kicked that pretty confidently. Dandenong lead by 13 points.
Oh, and the crowd roars yet again in a game that has been so difficult to predict throughout. First it looked like Werribee, Dandy early in the first quarter, then in the second quarter it was the Bees. Dandy again in the third, and then coming home strongly. Look at Welsh here. This is a big mark, and Sam, you spotted it. Yes, Doyle just getting between the players.
Drum coming back on the field. The skipper.
He doesn't look too good, though.
Geary have taken off him by teammate Eames. Now, can Drum get involved in this contest with Marshall? Sells comes in to put the pressure on. Here's Drum putting the tackle. Good one, too. And they crunch him down just to welcome him back.
He's running about he's running about half pace, Damien. Drum is not fully fit.
He's had a history with a bad groin. I don't know whether that's been the injury sustained today.
That's a throw. He's been free kick for a push in the back. Lucky you're on McPherson. Or maybe the push came before the throw.
Fractionally, Peter. I
give umpire Carey the benefit of the doubt. Sells. 50 metres out from goal. Not on the right side. So he goes to the pocket. Damien Drum, well, if he kicks a goal from this, it will be like the goal that Dermot Brereton kicked in the '89 Grand Final after he was hammered with everything, came off the bench, took a strong mark and kicked the goal.
What about the angle?
He certainly improved it for himself.
The umpire hasn't really done a good job.
I might as well put him dead in front.
How important is this? Well, that might just tell the tale for Drum. Will it tell the tale for Dandenong? Oh, he cops one.
Oh, no.
In front from Marshall on Sells, penalised.
No, it's a wrong decision. That was a good hip and shoulder bump.
Well, I don't know, Sam. I'll have to have a look at it again. I think the arm may have just been raised and he's collected him in the face. And that's a protected area, one's head.
Yes, you have a look at it on replay.
Oh, well, yeah, I don't know, actually.
I think you're right the first time, Phil. It was a bit high.
I think the elbow came up, though, after the contact had been made. Well, he's closer than Drum was, but he's on more of an acute angle, though he still has improved it a bit for himself.
He's not.
He's a left footer, remember. Swings it through for a behind. 2 goals is Dandenong's lead. They've played 10 minutes into the last quarter.
Dangerous short. Yeah. Normington snaps it, goal, puts it through. How costly might that be? Back to 6 points.
Yes, that was just a cardinal mistake then.
Oh, wasn't it ever, Sam? And kicks to the smallest player on the ground, Bradley Gotch. You just don't do that. But Normington, great goal.
How many goals would have he kicked this year? Not a lot, I don't think.
I think that was his 4th, Peter.
Judging by his reaction, Sam, he was pretty excited.
Well, he's played in the back pocket most of the year, but has a run on the ball.
So
great goal.
Invokes memories of Crompton kicking that goal. Melbourne.
Cleary puts it down. Eames hit with everything by Murray, who then puts the tackle on all day. McMaster's knock on. They're really putting their body on the line here. Drum. McPherson. McCormick got a kick off the ground. Well, Hollow's being hit with everything, but he got the handball clear. Knight. Elshaugh. Goes to Gotch.
He's covered plenty of ground. Gotch has had a superb second half, really giving them a lift.
Elshaugh, tremendous running from the coach. Fitzpatrick hit it. Chapman to Allday. Rayburn, confident handling from Werribee. Eames, his fellow rover. Here's Mork. Harris. Drum. Hollow coming at him. He pushes him away. And goals. They are level.
What a game, Peter. What a magnificent piece of play by Damien Drum. Look at him. He is built like the proverbial, isn't he, Sam? Got a nose that's spread across the face from hard yakka, but he goes up. Look at that, breaks the tackle and says, cop this. Wobbles it, but it still goes through. Tremendous game. Wonderful football.
Inspirational 5 minutes by Damien Drum. It appeared as though they lost the plot there for a moment, but his re-entry onto the field has steadied the tide.
Amazing. He's on one leg, Drum, but showing fantastic courage all day in the middle. Green gets it forward for the Redlegs. Socket forward by Morgan. Loose ball, Atkinson. He's felled after he kicked it. Millane marked anyway. Now there's a short one to Gotch in forward pocket. And he holds it.
And he's reported to Phil O'Keefe for that late bump on Atkinson.
Late what?
And Atkinson in trouble. He's on his back in the centre square. Meanwhile, Gotch.
Well, they want to get a player on quick smart. Going to be messing around. It's a stretcher, I think.
Well, the umpire will stop play here. Proceedings will halt.
Yes, going to stop the game.
Coming on, is the stretcher coming? Better bring it on.
There's Gotch taking a good diving mark.
She's delved deep into his kit of resources, his energy cells.
Meanwhile, Ricky Knight on for Werribee.
Go on.
So this is pressure for Bradley Gotch, having to wait until the stretcher comes on. Will he be allowed to take his kick?
Well, they were going to, and now they've decided, I think, to let the stretcher.
Confusion reigns supreme there for a few seconds.
Job first.
Ian Atkinson's played a terrific game. So.
Well, it'll be missed. Oh, he's told him he's off for assault. Yes, that's the rule in the VFA.
And here is O'Keefe off the ground.
It can be replaced, of course, but if the report is considered serious enough, an assault it becomes, and the player must leave the ground and is not replaced. Well, he's replaced, but he's not allowed back on the ground.
So did the umpire say then rest of the game?
Yes, he must have the duration, yes.
It's automatic.
Yeah, the 15 minutes is out the door now. Well, he can have no more effect on this game, Phil O'Keefe.
Atkinson 20 possessions. As he's carried from Prince's Park.
Well, he would have been in amongst the man of the match favourites too.
And let's hope, for all concerned, that, especially for the player himself, Ian Atkinson, that he is okay.
It's not a pretty sight, Peter, you're right. No one wishes to see that.
So, the stomach of Bradley Gotch must be churning. Scores are level. 15.5 minutes have elapsed in the final quarter. There'll be a bit of time on now.
It's a long wait to kick a goal too, or to kick at goal.
He's kicked 3 goals, 2 brilliant ones in the third quarter. Jeff Morrow stands back. Number 4, yes, for Bradley Gotch. And Dandenong by 6 points.
He's been a fine player, I said it earlier, but his legs have really been instrumental in the Dandy revival.
Here it is, here's the incident, Sam.
Well, there's no need to elaborate upon that. We all saw it.
Concentrate.
Yeah, it's a terrible thing for the young lad who did so very well. And I'm sure Phil O'Keefe, knowing him as well as I do, he's not the sort of guy, there's not a great deal of malice. And Phil, just a spur of the moment thing that invariably happens in the heat of the moment.
Well, let's see if Dandenong can ride that to grand final success.
So that was a soft free kick.
I'll say, Ross.
His eyes are on the ball, but his arms were flailing a bit. Millane. Oh, Danaher under pressure. Had to be quick and was. McMaster. Eames. He's hot. Gets it clear though. Ricky Knighty's first kick for over a quarter.
Oh,
almost a free. It is a free.
Yes.
Walsh did all in his power, but unfortunately it was illegal to take the mark.
Yes, he pushed with the hands before he flew.
Oh, look at that.
Dandenong 6 points up, and it's going to be a long quarter. Marshall bombs it out. Wicks and McCormick get in one another's way. Morgan could have marked. Here's Knight again. He's closer this time. What can Walsh do?
He's played a fine game, Marshall, too, in defence today.
In front, and Nick Walsh looking a little tired there too.
Well, he gave a lot in the first half on the half-back line. They've really played everywhere, these players. You've got to be versatile.
In ruck, Neil Danaher. More Redlegs than bees. Rayburn pouncing on it. Low goes Wicks. And we come up towards 18 minutes of the final term. The 1991 Sam VFA Premiership.
You see some contrasting ruck work. Big Green endeavouring to favour the boundary line. His counterpart Danaher over the back.
Big Warwick Green. Interception. Rayburn around the corner. Walsh another chance. Marshall once more in front. Clamouring for the free kick. Over the shoulder, he says.
I think you'd call that screaming for the free kick.
Jeez. Look at the expression on Jack Marshall's face.
Well, he's...
You wouldn't want a negative of that photo, would you?
No, thanks, Sam.
Torpedo from full-back.
Oh.
Murray spoilt. Gotch. They've got the run. It's Darren Reid. Haven't seen him for quite a long time. McKenzie being held. Elshaugh. McKenzie has to change position. Try and mark. Nowhere for Hall to go. Throw up, I'd think, over in that very wet pocket, about 25 metres from the Dandenong goal. If they could snag one here, they'd go a long way towards winning it.
All day late on the scene. Out to Elshaugh. Gotch. Millane waiting for it. McMaster. Elshaw's got it. It's not clear. Good tackle, Rayburn. Elshaugh not pinned for holding the ball. And the Werribee crowd getting heated.
Yes, the umpires have been giving the players a bit of a chance to get rid of the ball. It's a bit boggy. You can't be too hard on them. Very consistent.
The crowd finding its voice. 45 metres from the Redlegs goal. McMaster across the face, which was good because Geary was clear and he has good legs. Taking the ball half the ground. Kick a bit ineffective. He's down as he kicked, after he kicked in fact. Green. And Chris Hollow relieves the pressure. Out in front of Doyle. Chapman will fist away. No, he doesn't. Beautiful mark. Number 10. And he feeds it out to Normington.
Rayburn. Danaher tells him, give it to me. 70 metres out from goal. Draws the man. It's Damien Drum again. He doesn't fend off Wicks that time. Plenty of Werribee players. One of them, Richie Rayburn. The last line. It's Dandenong's favourite player, Marshall. Hall sits underneath it.
Oh, great
mark. The most experienced of the Dandenong players. Gives it out to Gotch. Millane doesn't waste time. McKenzie's his target. He doesn't let him down. Yes, he does. But keeps possession brilliantly. He's legged. Millane's kept running. Squares intelligently. And another mark for Greg Chapman.
How's he taken?
There's McMaster and Millane tangling. But Chapman, you wouldn't think a grand final's at stake. So cool is he. Rayburn in the slot decides to hold it up momentarily. Now he goes to Morgan. Centre wing, city side of the ground. Haven't seen a lot of Morgan in the second half. Here's Geary. Harris. The goal here and Werribee are in front. Walsh goes down, he's got the free.
Well, Darren Millane at the other end of the ground tried to kick from the angle and had a free player in the corridor, didn't choose it, and the ball's come back up the other end. Marshall just giving the nudge. Boy.
Nick Walsh played a lot in attack in his league career. He's put the bees in front.
Oh dear. This has been a ripper of a game. We'll see it on the screen now. Yes, the nudge there from Russell Marshall. Hardly put a foot wrong, Jack, but on that occasion, just doing the wrong thing.
Nick Walsh. Werribee in front, looking for their first premiership. The crowd going mad. 22 minutes have elapsed. Plenty of time on though. Elshaugh holding the ball. No. Well, very lucky indeed, Tony Elshaugh.
Yes, I agree, Ross. I think they could have been holding the ball.
Drawing on reserves of courage, both these sides. We've seen Drum do that earlier in this quarter. Doyle a fist. Chapman out to Normington. Elshaugh's there, so's Rayburn. Ridden into the ground, Rayburn. Good hand pass, Hall. Millane. Wicks doesn't know what to do. Gives it to Welsh, who kicks it in. Oh! And Dandenong back in front. Welsh kicks his fourth goal.
Well, you couldn't have written a better script.
Oh, Sam. I tell you what, VFA football really is great football, isn't it?
Gee, they were cool in the crosser here. What a fine tackle by Elshaugh. The loose ball came to Hall. Quick hands by Millane. There's one guy who didn't want to kick it on this occasion was Richard Wicks, who hand passed to Welsh, who I think has snapped on 3 or 4 occasions today, accurately.
He's kicked 84 goals for the season. Rayburn looking to cancel that towards Walsh. Harris pushed backwards by Burke. Lesiputty, no, it's Sells. Walsh. Oh, kept in well there. The combination job, McCormick and Murray. It's a 5-point lead for Dandenong. Heaps of time left. Green gets it down. Drum gets the handball to Sells.
Oh. And look at the
agony.
faces of despair, the agonising that the supporters are going through.
2 goals, 3 kicked by Stephen Sells.
Oh.
Kick out is dangerous. Drum arrives. Walsh is hot. Well caught.
Yes.
Holding the ball.
Ducked the head.
Elshaugh responsible for 2 fine tackles. One for a goal and one to save one.
Murray calling for support, something to kick to. Both sides very tired. Out to Doyle. Chapman the fist away, as reliable as ever. Rayburn goes down with Doyle.
Oh, the big bloke did well there. Fine recovery by the big fellow. He must be so tired.
He's going to ruck again. Nearly 25 minutes gone. Doyle. Chapman. Rayburn. Through Danaher. Damien Drum, inspirational. The kick was a tired one. Marshall gathered well. Crash he goes. Good effort by Walsh to put a tackle on. Knight, a beautiful gather. Out to Hollow. If he can pick it up and kick, but he's got 4 men against him. The Tigers not giving up. Knight. Leon Harris, how fitting. He's put them in front as he was touched. It's not through yet.
Oh,
I thought he kicked it.
Resemble the rugby league scrum.
Who put the smother on? Was it Darren Hall?
You can hardly see the ball for confetti as it flooded down. It was like the ticker tape parade. Nick Murray. We're into time on by a minute, but there's going to be a lot of time on for that unfortunate injury to Ian Atkinson. Oh, Rayburn here. He's played a fine game since he's come on. Waste no time. It's Harris, who thought about admonishing Richie Rayburn, took the mouth guard out and then thought better of it. No time for recriminations now. It's there to be won. 3 points in front of Dandenong. 26 and a half minutes gone. Good tackle on Green, but he has rucked tirelessly today.
The second half in particular, Peter.
There he is again. It's Harris. 45 out. Eames flies. The fist from Hall. Oh, what desperation from Knight. Just got it away in time. It's a throw-in.
Oh, well, whichever side. They both should be immortalised, both sides, but I'm sure that the victorious side will be immortalised.
Well, I think if Werribee can kick a goal here, they've won it. Danaher trying to take it out of the air. Oh, Eames and Sells got in one another's way. Well, it can't be out on the full, surely. It ricocheted off Eames. Maybe it came off his foot.
Yes.
Oh, Jack Marsh going to kick a torpedo, dear.
27 and a half minutes gone. Dandenong by 3 points. The next goal will win it.
I think there'll be a defensive strategy employed by Dandenong here.
There are only 6 players on the Dandenong side of the centre. Doyle gains valuable meterage. Normington, he's got it through to Morgan. Danaher's back there, almost brought it to ground. Sells just got it away in time. Hollow, isn't he cool for one so young? Gotch just withdrew the hands to let Doyle mark. Run time off the clock is the call to the Redlegs. And Wicks, what a very strong and timely mark.
Just settle down, compose yourself.
Still time for Werribee. We've played 28 minutes. The Redlegs away. Oh, McKenzie can seal it if he can get a hold of it. It's all Werribee inboard. Harris has got to stop them here. He won't. Millane's putting the icing on the cake.
Well, the game's not over though. There'll be a bit of time on.
No, there's time to get back, Phil, but 11-point lead in the dying minutes.
9
points.
9 it is, and Sean Millane, his second of the day. Harris had the odds against him there and ricocheted off him. And Dandenong, minutes away from their first flag in 20 years. Werribee have to find something extraordinary in the crisis. Green does it again. Drum, what an inspiration he's been. Elshaugh likewise for his team. The 2 captains there. That is not the siren. Green, superb in the second half. Hall has played a good game. It's Dandy's flag!
Can you believe it? We have seen 2 of the best grand finals in the last 2 years you could ever want to see anywhere in Australia. Great football, fighting comeback by the Redlegs.
What a game to showcase the VFA season. You're right, Phil, it is one of the great grand finals.
Quarter time, Dandenong by 2 points. Half time, Werribee by 24. Dandenong by 5 at 3/4 time. And the one that counts, the interval between the 2 seasons, they lead by 9 points. They're the premiers. For the 4th time they've won a VFA premiership. There won't be too many more happy men than Russell Marshall. And I'm sure they drew a little bit of extra inspiration when Ian Atkinson was stretching off the ground. And somewhere in amongst there is Tony Elshaugh. In the space of 2 seasons as coach, he's turned this club around. They won 1 game in 1989. They've finished second at the home and away this year and gone on and won the premiership, playing 4 finals against Werribee's 2. And there is
the vanquished, Peter.
Yep, they gave it their all. And once again, a team has got a lead but not put the opposition away in the VFA Grand Final, as perhaps they should have in that second quarter. But that's not to take anything away from Dandenong.
Well,
superb performance, and they've had some famous wins in the past. This one was right up there with them.
Yeah, some good moves at half-time too, Peter, putting McKenzie to the forward line.
But really, it was a great display of character, Phil, wasn't it? They looked on the rack at half-time, and as has been the case all year, they've never been backward in taking a chance. They backed each other in. They've got a tremendous belief and a tremendous spirit in the club, which obviously has been created by Elshaugh's appearance at Dandenong.
Well, somewhere down there is Ross Booth with the president of the Williamstown Football Club, yes, Peter Williams.
Peter Williams and Mick Hawking, very much. Mick Hawking, football manager, and Peter Williams, the president of Dandenong. What a game.
Yeah, it's the greatest thing that ever happened to me in my football life. It was absolutely fantastic. We went through real hard times for this, and Tony, the professional man that he is, has got him up. Fantastic.
Peter Williams, president.
They were great, Russ. They were tremendous. Just tremendous faith in Tony. He really is just so cool in a crisis. He was wonderful with the boys, and Cameron and all the fellows. But it's a wonderful thing for Dandenong. I mean, it's been a depressed area, and the people ought to really appreciate what these fellows have done.
I'm sure
it's a great thing for the city.
They seem to. Well done, Cameron. Some great moves you made.
Yeah, thanks, Ross. Great effort by the boys. Absolutely magnificent. Like the trend we've set all year through the finals, you know, starting slow, but today's really, they got away from us in the second semi. They got the lucky brace in the last couple of minutes, but today the boys deserve their effort. It's absolutely fantastic. Congratulations to Tony. Great job he's done.
Well done. Okay, well, we might get ready for the presentation and draw some players.
I think somehow it's hit home what he's done now. Elshaugh riding high on the success of his red legs.
Well, it's a great moment, Peter. The few moments after the ground gets better as the night goes on.
To be a playing coach, though, you've actually done it on the ground as well. He really played 4 quarters too. Made the odd mistake, but he just kept going, and he was there to lay some very telling tackles in that last quarter.
My word, he laid one tackle which resulted in a goal, and he laid one tackle which saved the goal. They were both telling tackles, and really, this will really sink in. You'll start appreciating it about a week or so. It takes a while to sink in. But they're a great feeling. And also from Werribee's viewpoint, Phil, we've both been on the opposite side of the fence. It's a lonely, lonely feeling. It's a long 6 months.
Yes, it is, Sam.
It's Greg Doyle there. I wonder if they can keep him. He came to the club via St Kilda. They still have hold on him. They wouldn't mind getting him back.
I think they'd have a look at him, Peter. He's a fine player, great hands, and he's very cool today, and he did some tremendous work when the pressure was on. There's the man of the moment, Tony Elshaugh, and I can tell you it's a great feeling to be out there with the Premiership Cup. It's not too flash when you're on the other side of things and you've just lost a grand final.
Well, Dandenong have known their disappointments after their last flag in 71. They were runners-up in 72, 75, 76, relegated in 85. Then, of course, the one division comp in 89, and now they're premiers. Ross Booth with Tony Elshaugh.
Tony, I don't know if Tony can speak because he's in tears. He's so emotional. Is it that good?
Oh, it's great. I just want to say hello to my wife Heather and your little girl Kimberly. You know, I love the both of you. It was fantastic. I just love it. It's the greatest thrill of all time.
Terrific.
The blokes were fantastic. I gave it to them at half-time. I gave them the biggest spray, and they responded just like the men they are. They were fantastic. I just love them forever now.
Well done. Well, that's the emotion of a grand final win. The captain coach. Congratulations, Tony Elshaugh.
Thanks, Ross.
Well done, Ross. You don't need to ask any questions in that situation.
No, it's very emotional, and you know, he's had a lot of pressure on him. It's been a long 12 months.
So you get the goosebumps, really, Sam, don't you, when you see that, because it's just a wonderful moment. You go through that long,
You're going to
dreary
stay
winter.
coaching now, are you, Phil?
Oh, dear.
but the bonds and the camaraderies that are formed after a victory like
Werribee,
this.
they'll be a better team for this. They hadn't won a final in VFA football, full stop, second division or anything, until the second semi. They won that. They, of course, lost the one that matters. They've given it their all. And perhaps they're thinking next year this will be us. Darren James, Master of Ceremonies for the presentations.
1991 Victorian Football Association Premiers, Dandenong Football Club. And now please make welcome the Honourable Mr Neil Tresize, the Minister for Sport and Recreation, to present the 1991 May Nicholas Cup to the winning coach of the Dandenong Football Club, captain coach in fact, Tony Elshaugh.
The photo of this side, Phil, will hang with distinction in the club rooms of Dandenong, along with 71 premiers.
Well, Sam, a big round of applause, the captain coach of Dandenong, Tony Elshaugh.
Premier, Lord Mayor, VFA President John Grieve, ladies and gentlemen. No doubt we've seen another great VFA Grand Final this year, in the same way as last year was a cliffhanger. But before making the presentation to the victorious coach, Tony Elshaugh of Dandenong, I'd like to again compliment the VFA, not only for their outstanding arrangements here today, but also what they've done for football over past years, and no doubt will do so in the future. But today, of course, we congratulate the Werribee Club on their great endeavour to win out their first premiership, but Dandenong were going for their first premiership in 21 years, and therefore I think we'd agree that on the day the Dandenong Club were the worthy premiers of 1991. So to you, Tony, it's my pleasure to make the presentation of the May Nicholas Cup as a premiership captain and coach of Dandenong for the season of 1991. Well done, Tony.
First of all, I just want to commiserations to Leon Harris, who's been a great mate of mine for about 7 or 8 years, and I feel for him right now, and commiserations to the rest of their team in Werribee. They certainly played very well and took us right up to us. Most of all, I'd just like to thank the players. They responded magnificently at half-time when I put to them that we had to go harder at the ball and work harder to make sure that we put ourselves in the contest. The players were magnificent today. Not only the 18 that took the field, but also the other players that are on our senior list have all worked very hard to be part of it, and I also thank them very much. To all the support staff off the field, thanks very much. And the administration of Dandenong have been fantastic, giving me virtually everything I wanted to help put this all together, and I certainly thank them very much. I also like to thank everybody for turning out today and making it a wonderful day, the greatest day of my life. The captain coach of Dandenong, Tony Elshaugh. And now please make welcome Mr Bill Stubbs, the Victorian manager of Wards Express, who will announce the winner of the Norm Goss Medal and the Wards Man of the Match Award. Bill Stubbs.
Thanks very much, Darren. Ladies and gentlemen, I think that the true mark of a champion is to be the best on the ground in a winning grand final side. There's no doubt about that. And today I've got great pleasure on behalf of Wards Express in presenting the Norm Goss Medallion and the Wards Express Man of the Match tankard to Brad Gotch.
I'd just like to thank Wards Express and Mazda, and thanks to all my teammates for a fantastic year. Thanks, fellas.
Good on you, Brad. It's now time to present the individual medals. for the Dandenong Football Club, and to present them the Honourable Mr Neil Trezise and the manager.
Well, while we see the players get their medallions, Ross Booth down there, another interview he might have it with the man who ended up with the footy after kicking the ceiling goal. There he is.
The smiling Sean Millane, yes, and that was a quick post about the Dandenong Journal. You said to me before you didn't think you were going to get there.
Oh, it's just it's come such a...
You're going to get your medal,
I'll get the medal.
Okay. Greg Doyle, another great game from you.
Thanks. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
After half-time, it's just fantastic effort from all the boys. Just come out and work so hard. Our tackling was fantastic. It's just fantastic effort.
Great effort. We might have a word to Dennis Knight. Well done. I mean, I remember that scene in the last couple of minutes. You were tackled by about four Werribee players. You managed to get the hand pass out rather than getting nailed. Yeah. How bad did you feel then?
Oh, well, I felt pretty relieved actually when the ball got out of my hands. I thought, the last tackle I thought was a Dandenong player. And I got it out anyway. They weren't too happy about it, but I was happy. I got it out.
Was that tough? Let's have a word to Brett McKenzie. Brett, a terrific game by you in defence and then in attack. You really showed your wares today.
Yeah, no, it was a great game. It was a really great team effort. We stuck to our guns, sort of come in at half time, and we had to regroup, and we've done the right thing, and it's just been great. It's been a hard year, and you know, all the credit goes to all the boys and Tony Elshaugh for being such a great coach.
Terrific, yeah. And Russell Marshall, how are you? A bit tired?
Oh, very, very tired. Yeah.
Take a couple of knocks, did you?
Oh, yeah, but it's grand final. I suppose you bounce back from that sort of stuff.
You're just exhausted, are you?
Yeah, I am at the moment.
Your turn, Jack. Get him a go. Well done. Well, it's football on the run here.
Oh, he's going to lay a kiss on you there, Ross. Luck might have changed.
Well done. Great game by you.
Well, they've kicked 11 goals to 6 after half-time, Dandenong, and perhaps it was those fresher legs that told in the end, though they have played those 4 finals to 2, so the younger legs perhaps.
Well, I think they showed that in the previous couple of finals, that they really stormed home. I think in the second semi against Werribee, they kicked a lot of points in the latter part of the last quarter, in fact, about 9 points. They stormed home again last week, and yes, after half-time, they were just relentless. The move of McKenzie to the forward line and Hollow to the back line was a great tactic by the brains trust at Dandenong.
Because he played so well, McKenzie, I thought at centre-half back in that second quarter, he held them up. I think Werribee could have really put it beyond doubt in that second quarter.
I agree there.
But I think they had to take a punt, Peter. 4 down. They just looked to be, the game looked to be slipping away from them. So it was a brave move by Dandenong, a tremendous effort, Sam. I did pick them to win the game, and I thought it would be tight, and it was a tremendous grand final.
Actually, in the Dandy Journal, I selected them by 12 points.
Well, I might just say that I've tipped against Dandenong the last 2 weeks in the Dandenong Journal. The only player not to tip, tipster not to tip Dandenong, so I should take some credit. I reckon I've been the good luck charms, and the Dandy Journal posters are being spread far and wide around here, and for a team who really were a power in the 70s there. They gave us some great entertainment during the 70s. They're back, aren't they?
Yes, well, I started in the mid-70s, Peter. I remember they were just a very difficult side to combat, especially out of Chepley over with Miller and Flaherty and the boys.
But by comparison, Phil, I don't think this side has lost anything by comparison to the 71 side. But more importantly, what a fitting climax to a wonderful season of VFA football. And if anyone wanted any tangible evidence just how good or how progressive VFA football is becoming, you need look no further than what you've seen today. It was just a fabulous game.
I think Ross has got some more happy interviewees.
And this time they've already got their medals. So Nick Murray, Rohan Welsh and Darren Reid. Now, Darren, now you can tell us what was your injury, please.
Shall I? Yes, it was the old hammer and tack, mate. Well, Mac.
Oh, it's all related. Well done today anyway. Great recovery.
Oh, it's great. It's unbelievable, mate.
And Welsh kicking at goal. All the nerves had gone.
Yeah, all the nerves had gone, I think, in the last quarter.
How did you like playing out at centre half forward?
All right, yeah, something different. Haven't played there for a while this year, but come out today, it was good.
Boys. Okay, the word first from Nick Murray. Haven't spoke to you this year.
No.
Terrific game at fullback from you.
Yeah, thanks, Ross. Bit nervous towards the end, but it's good to get it.
Okay. All right, well, I think we haven't had a word of Bradley Gotch. It might be a bit hard now. He's so small to find in the crowd, but they're the scenes at a premiership. It's all a bit, out of control, isn't it?
Yeah, but you'd give anything to be in amongst it, wouldn't you?
Wouldn't you ever?
Gee, what a wonderful feeling it is. And Phil, you've been through it a couple of times. And I've been fortunate to experience the feeling. I know what the players are going through. But, when you consider the club 5 years ago was on the verge of extinction, the manner in which they've fought back in the short space of 2 or 3 years, and it's not only we laud the contributions of the Elshaughs and the administration, but the township of Dandenong has really, really rallied behind the side, and the township should justifiably hang their hat on a very, very feasible vehicle to promote the town now, because the boys have really done them proud, everyone at Dandenong, and I certainly congratulate them.
We should say of Werribee too, I know it's a sad day for Leon Harris because he's done a great job too, and they've rebuilt the Werribee side, and I tell you what, that's the only team that would have knocked Werribee off today too, Dandenong, because they were the two best sides in the competition by a street.
Yes, they've set the standard that the other teams have got to match next season. We'll be there. We hope you can be there with us. We hope you've enjoyed season 1991 on ABC TV, live every Saturday and into the final Sunday afternoon. We've enjoyed bringing it to you, and this is the fitting picture you should see to take you out of the season. So on behalf of Phil Cleary, Sam Kekovich, Peter G here, thanking you two gentlemen for your contributions this year. Ross Booth, tireless in his efforts. Tony Leonard, who's played such an important role commentary-wise through this season. Paul Field, our statistician, has been superb. Our OB crew, well, exemplary. Well done to you, gentlemen and ladies. And on behalf of Alan Pridmore, our executive producer, goodbye from Princess Park.
Thanks very much to Peter G and the boys at Princess Park. What a tremendous advertisement for local footy. Dandenong, 1967, 1971 and now 1991. Let's confirm all the scores from Princess Park today. 3 games played, 6 teams involved. In the under-19s, Frankston far more accurate and home by 33 points over Box Hill. In the reserves, it was Paran by 10 points over Coburg, 11-16 to 10-12. And confirming the score in the seniors, Dandenong 15-15, 105 to Werribee 14-12, 96. The margin 9 points after Dandenong led by 5 points at three-quarter time. What a performance by Dandenong.